This podcast is brought to you by High Dive. High Dive is your source for summer anime exclusives such as Tada Never Falls in Love, Review Starlight, and more. Watch now with your friends with High Dive's live chat feature, which syncs up the video so you're always on the same page. And at an incredible $4.99 per month, you won't want to miss out. Head over to highdive.com today to start your 7-day free trial. And so they know that the Anime Addicts sent you, make sure to use the promo code AAAPodcast to get 50% off your first month. Again, that's the promo code AAAPodcast at highdive.com. This podcast is also brought to you by JList.com. Right now on JList.com, they're taking pre-orders for over 200 different anime figures. Some of their newest include Joker Nendoroid from Persona 5, Diva figures from Overwatch, Kingdom Hearts Nendoroids, figures of Yuri Katsuki from Yuri on Ice, 10th Anniversary Hodo from Spice and Wolf, and definitely hundreds more. So go ahead and check out JList.com. You can grab yourself a cool anime figure. And now, let's start the podcast.
You're listening to the Anime Addicts Anonymous Podcast. Take your anime addiction to the next level at AAAPodcast.com/join. And now, here are your anime addicts.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the 437th episode of the Anime Addicts Anonymous Podcast.
Had to look that one up, huh?
I did.
Pause. We're so deep in it.
Where are we? What year is it?
You caught me red-handed. Where our mission is to do what?
Make your
To
anime
make your anime
worse.
addiction worse.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
that.
Yeah. I am your host, Mitsuki, and I am joined by the most beautiful trio of friends anyone could ever have in New York City. He's probably naked, sitting in Brooklyn. He's got a pit bull running around his apartment. It's complete madness.
yeah.
His name's Enzo.
He's got the warmth of his PC tower between his legs, but a cool breeze coming from the window. It sounds magical.
Yes.
It's definitely, it's 100% the most ideal situation to be living in, for sure.
We also
I'm happy to be here.
We also have the wonderful Mandy, who is hailing from Cincinnati, where I hope it is also equally as fantastic as it is in New York City. How are you, Mandy?
It's not, I'm sure,
It's not,
but it's good. I'm doing okay though. Still recovering from illness, but I'm okay.
I'm so glad you're okay.
Thank you.
We're glad that you're recovering, Mandy.
It's actually someone's special day today. Did you know that?
Oh my god, no, I didn't.
Whose special day?
Oh,
Is it Enzo's birthday?
it is.
Oh
it's
my
his birthday
God.
today.
How did we not
Happy
know
birthday.
this?
Wow.
I know it.
It's just
paid
not a big.
attention.
I just never make it a big deal. Like today, it's just a normal day for me.
Enzo is 500 years old.
Wow, you're older than me.
It's incredible.
The youngest kohai, the oldest kohai in existence.
My birthday was a couple
birthday,
weeks
Enzo.
ago.
Oh, what?
Yeah, we actually all have birthdays in like a close range, right? Like, okay, all right.
My birthday's in
all right, okay, Kazo.
And of course,
But yeah, thanks for everyone listening.
how old are you really, Enzo? You're
I'm
young. You're like 26. He's 26.
I'm a 26-year-old baby. Yeah. Please let me.
I remember when I was 26.
I remember those days
So many years ago.
when I had my teeth.
I don't know if I should be happy that I'm the youngest of the podcast, or if I should be
Be
annoyed.
happy. Be happy. Be happy. And of course, we have the
I'm happy, I'm
the
happy.
wonderful, ever disappearing Kazuo to my right.
I'm shrinking.
He is literally smaller every time I see
I'm
him.
evaporating before your eyes.
His body is eating itself.
It's true.
It's literally happening.
Yeah, I haven't eaten.
He's all
in-
bony toady.
I haven't eaten in 24 hours, and I won't eat until this whole podcast is over.
That is intense.
Wow.
Yeah.
I can't do that.
Discipline
Wow.
is what it is.
That's how I normally eat, and I'm not on keto.
Well, you know what? Maybe you are, and you just don't know it.
I'm a crazy person.
Yo, she said step your game up, Kazuo. Yeah.
The problem is I play video games and forget to eat.
Makes sense.
So if you guys want to get our additional content, which helps keep this podcast alive, you can go to our website, AAAPodcast.com/join. Some of the great stuff that we've done recently on there. On our Hobby Addicts episodes, my mother joined last episode
Yes,
and spilled the
she
beans about practically
Yo.
everything in my life.
That episode was probably the most enlightening thing I've ever experienced in recent years.
Wow.
I know Mitsuki to a different point now. It's
Oh my God.
amazing.
I don't know how I feel
Now
about
you
this.
understand.
It all
Mitsuki.
makes sense. It all makes sense.
It all adds up.
And I just finished an episode where I discussed my trip to New York City, where I visited Enzo, and to Denver, where I visited Ryu from our Discord. Both places, both people, amazing. I had the most.
Let the people
fantastic-
know how did you like your time with me? Because I want to know as well. I want to know.
Enzo,
Terrible.
Enzo, I can't imagine.
Yeah, all he talked about was how much he hated his time with you. It was
The
he's so disappointed.
Give it to me straight. Give it to me straight.
I can't imagine a better person to spend my time with in New York City than you. How about that?
Aw.
Aw.
Aw. I
And
want to kiss your
and
little,
your roommates,
your little
were-
bald
your-
head.
Your roommates were delightful, also.
Yeah, they really like you too, by the way.
Good.
You're welcome anytime.
I'm glad. I'm glad because I will be visiting. Also, of course, we have our hentai episodes where we talk about the naughty stuff. I know that's what all of you want, so you can get our hentai episodes as well, and also our after parties. So help us out, and we'll help you out with additional content. So it's a symbiotic relationship. Fantastic. We're also,
Fantastic.
You can also keep up with us on our Facebook, facebook.com/groups/AAAPodcast. And of course, the Discord has a ton of people on it that are up to all sorts of shenanigans. You can find a link to our Discord at the top of our website. Again, that's AAAPodcast.com. So
Whoa.
on this episode, as a motorcycle drives by, we are going to be doing unexpected and memorable anime alliances, suggested by Mason from the Discord.
Mason.
Mason, indeed. And we're also going to be doing a review of probably the greatest boxing anime that's ever been made, Megalo Box.
Hajime no Ippo?
Oh Jesus!
Oh, no.
Hajime no Ippo, a new season.
So we're going to be getting to that as well. So we have a freaking jam-packed episode. We're going to be playing Does Mitsuki's Mom Know? We got some great news for you guys and so much more. So shall we kick it off?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Oh, 大ニュースです。It's time for big news of the week.
All right, we got two of these this week. First up, the script for an anime of Satoshi Kon's Opus manga is being written.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Masao Maruyama, who's the head of Madhouse Studios, says that a script is being created for the late Satoshi Kon's Opus manga. He said he's been wanting to do this for a while, at least since last year at another event where he spoke about it. And there's a composer that's already writing theme music for it, Susumu Hirasawa, who I guess worked with Satoshi Kon quite a lot on his prior movies.
Can I please? I'm having a vision
Okay.
right now.
Okay.
It's a psychic vision.
Okay.
I've never heard of this manga, but I feel like it's going to involve two people,
Okay.
probably a boy
Okay.
and a girl, and
Uh-huh.
they're going to fall in love, but for some reason,
This is Satoshi Kon.
oh damn, never mind, wrong person.
I was gonna say.
Forget it.
Oh my
It's actually going to be good.
Oh,
You're-
you're just throwing burns out there.
Get
Oh
fucking
my God.
self-wrecked, you dummy.
Hey, you know what? Don't get mad at me. All right.
That was the biggest trash talk fail I have ever.
I
Yeah,
know.
that's
Hey,
amazing.
you know what, Mandy?
That's
You can't
amazing.
speak. Weren't you the one?
The boy,
Didn't
the
you
boy
not
hasn't
realize?
eaten in 20.
Did you
He
not-
hasn't eaten in 20 hours. Okay.
Yeah,
Let him
give me
be.
a break, guys. I'm running on fumes here.
He's close to death, all right? So the Opus manga ran between
We'll edit that out. No, we won't.
No, we won't. 1995 and 1996, just before Satoshi Kon became a director with his first film, which was Perfect Blue in 1997. Now, get this plot synopsis. This sounds like this is such Satoshi Kon.
Okay.
I've read it. I have it.
Of course.
Of course.
Of
Of
course.
course.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
No,
it's great.
No one
I
is
love it.
surprised.
So my understanding, and by the way, this is a very tricky synopsis because it sounds kind of trippy. Opus is a metafictional tale of a man named Chikara Nagai, who is the creator of a manga that is under pressure to finish his latest volume of his work called Resonance. And basically what happens is he writes a story where an Esper named Lin sacrifices himself to defeat some evil force. But while working late at night, the author witnesses his own character stealing the 2 pages of his manga which contain his own death. And the guy gets sucked into his own manga in the middle of a fight between good and evil. And the boundaries between the manga world and the real world become blurred as the guy works with the characters of his own manga to save the very world that he himself created.
It's an isekai.
Is what I took. That's my own synopsis from reading the description of the story. Would you say that that's a fair, accurate description, Mandy?
Mm-hmm. Yep, it gets really, really trippy and very meta, but yeah, that's pretty much it.
But we can expect that from Satoshi Kon, though.
Oh yeah,
I feel like he handles that that element, like that writing device, super well, in my opinion.
I mean, his movies are definitely out there, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
The only movie he's got his only works that really aren't out there are Millennium Actress and Tokyo Godfathers, because all the rest of it is pretty trippy.
Yeah, I 100% agree, because then you get Paprika too, so.
And Paranoia Agent.
Yeah, of course.
And Perfect Blue also was kind of trippy, so.
I'm
seeing Perfect Blue soon in theaters. So I'm so excited to go do that.
You should, because it's a really fantastic movie.
Yeah, I've seen it before, but never in a theatrical release, so I'm stoked.
So are you pumped?
I was trying. Oh, sorry.
Are you pumped up, Mandy, for an anime version of Opus?
Yeah, I am. I really enjoyed the manga. I was trying to fact check myself. I could be wrong about this, but I think he passed away before he finished the manga, and they had to write in a new ending for it. Or either that, or they found the ending in his stuff, like a possible ending. I can't remember. I feel like that was something I read about it, though.
Poor Satoshi Kon. I feel like he left a lot of stuff unfinished.
Yeah.
So, what else were you going to add?
Nope, that was it. That was actually what I was going to say.
All right, well, just so everybody knows, Masao Maruyama did not say that the anime had been greenlit. Like, they're not definitely making it, but they've made like theme music and a script for it. So they're obviously considering it. So we'll just have to kind of
trying their darndest.
I know. So I feel like they should do something to honor Satoshi Kon. So since his other thing apparently is never going to get done.
Yeah, that's such a tragedy. Like, so talented and so young.
Yeah, he's in like his 40s, so it's definitely sad.
Like there was so much left for him to do. It's insane.
Yeah, he probably had 10 more movies in him.
Yeah.
So, shall we move on?
Sure.
Yeah.
Prepare for trouble.
Make it double.
Shut up! You haven't had one useful thing to say since you got here.
All right, so I had Kazuo watch this with me earlier today.
I did.
Fukushima is pissed off at Netflix over an episode of a TV show called The Dark Tourist it's available on Netflix. You can watch it easily. Dark Tourist episode 2 is about Japan's Fukushima region and the radioactive areas and whatnot. The show itself is like about people who want to do tourism to places that are dangerous or notorious or whatever. So they went to the suicide forest also and whatnot. They weren't picking at dead bodies and stuff like that one asshole, but basically the government of Japan and the Reconstruction Agency for that area are considering taking action against Netflix because the video shows a tour organized for foreigners of the areas affected by the March 2011 meltdown of the Fukushima reactor. And in the tour, a New Zealand tourist suspects that a meal served at a restaurant in the town of Namie had been contaminated by radiation.
Oh my God.
The video also shows the journalist entering the no-go zone around the crippled nuclear plant without permission. The video also shows the tour participants getting upset by rising radiation readings on their bus. All that actually happened in the show.
Yeah.
And
one of the things in the show is that, and they show this like in the very beginning, where they're asking, what would you consider to be dangerous levels in this area? And in this area that they were in is an area that the Japanese government is currently trying to have people move back in. They're saying, hey, it's all safe, move back in here, please. And they asked the guide, what levels would you consider dangerous on the Geiger meter? And he said anything over 0.2, I would consider dangerous. And then they show them all kind of like, reading their Geiger meters, and it is like 5 times that.
At one point, it gets up to almost 10.
No.
Yeah.
At one point, it's almost 50 times the safe level. And basically, it's what you expect. The the prefecture and the reconstruction agency are concerned that the video could fuel fears related to the radiation, and that could stifle development of the area and tourism.
As
and
it
whatnot.
should.
Yeah.
It's
this
like
video doesn't paint a very good picture.
It's like, hey, don't tell people the truth. We want them to move back here so that they can all get cancer and die. Come on, don't tell them the truth.
It definitely didn't paint a good picture, and it definitely doesn't look like a safe area, even to me.
Yeah.
So unless they're bullshitting on the TV show,
which
is possible.
Yeah, I was gonna ask that.
It's possible. Listen, like the amount of times reality TV shows claim to be reality TV shows, but then have scripted drama, is very often.
Yeah,
it's all the time. It's basically all the time because you know what? Like sometimes people in reality are kind of like boring, and like you have to like script some things. So that's what and I see why and that's why I see Fukushima trying to potentially take action, because if it's all not true, then Netflix is really screwing over the possibility of this area coming back.
And Netflix themselves is going to be super screwed because they're going to get sued like crazy for, false
first slander. Yeah, for sure. So. I'm like, because here's the thing, I don't know enough to take a side, but assuming Netflix, what they're presenting is true, then like in a good way, I'm glad that information is getting leaked out.
Yeah.
If not true, then I'm really upset with Netflix for sure, because drama at the expense of progress is not a thing I support usually. So that's where I'm at.
I agree.
Okay.
If it's true. Like, okay, so there are two options. Either it's false or true. If it's false, then it just means that Netflix is kind of screwed up and they're probably going to get sued and be in a lot of trouble for lying.
Yeah.
If it's true, that's even more damning, because that means that the Japanese government is knowingly putting their citizens in a very dangerous situation just so that they can boost the economy or whatever they're trying to do.
Whether or not it's true or not, Netflix has the damage is done. So even if Netflix was lying and they get sued and they have to pay the government a bunch of money or something, potentially hundreds of thousands of people have already watched that episode. And so the general public is already thinking, oh my God, I'm never going to Japan. Right? So
that's a whole other issue, is that people are afraid to go to Japan when they don't realize that the area affected is just a small part of Japan.
Right.
So,
and if you don't go to the no-go zone,
you'll be all right.
You'll probably be fine.
Yeah.
So, okay. Anything else there?
No, that's all I got for that one.
So I'm gonna play our theme song for Does Mitsuki's Mom Know, and you guys get our victim for the day, and we'll get this thing rolling.
Let's do it.
All right. It's time for Does Mitsuki's Mom Know? The game show that pits Mitsuki's unassuming mother against anime's most basic questions. Now here are your hosts, the Anime Addicts! Alright, who is our victim for today on Does Mitsuki's Mom Know?
Hi.
Who might this be?
Hello. This is Katie.
Katie.
And Katie, where are you calling from?
From Kentucky.
Katie's calling from Kentucky.
Hey, Katie, just so you know, go ahead and mute me in Discord, but unmute everybody else, and you should be good.
Okay.
Oh, Discord.
I think.
Oh, Discord.
It's wonderful, and at the same
Discord.
time...
It's not Discord, it's us.
It's wonderful, but at the same time, I think it is not really meant for what we're doing.
Probably not.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Anyway.
We will find solutions later.
Anyway, Katie, I know you know how to play this game already. I have fresh questions for you. We are going to play you a series of questions, and your job is to determine whether or not my mom, innocent though she may be, knows the answers to these questions. And if you can get 3 out of 5 right, you will not only break the losing streak that has haunted this podcast for months now, but you will win a fantastic prize that will probably force you into retirement.
Force you into retirement?
That's right. Because it's so fantastic, you'll never have to work again.
I will say, Katie, now, there is a bit of a losing streak happening right now, and I'm not saying that correlation is causation, but it just so happens that all of those people that have lost also did not believe me when I told them the answer. So I'm just throwing that out there. I'm not telling you that I am all-knowing or omnipotent or beautiful and powerful.
I think you're beautiful.
Very humble as well. I'm not saying I'm all of those things, but I'm saying that there's a correlation.
What he's saying is that you can ask him for help if you wish, but I don't recommend it. All right, so here comes your sample question, Katie, and I know you know how to play this, but we're gonna do this for the sake of the audience. So are you ready?
I don't know. I feel like you're tricking me now. So.
Oh, okay.
The doubt begins.
Yeah, well, that's how it goes. Here comes your sample question. Goku has a brother.
Oh no.
What is his name? There it is. There's the question.
Oh my God! Come on, dude.
Katie, were you able to hear that?
I have you live.
Mitz is muted himself, so you need to unmute yourself.
Unmute yourself.
Unmute myself?
Unmute yourself.
Yeah, dummy.
You just call me a dummy?
You big dummy.
Yeah. A big dummy.
Let's try this again.
There we go.
It's my birthday. I can call anyone I want a dummy.
I could call you dummy if I wanna.
Goku has a brother.
Oh no.
What is his name? There you go. Simple as that.
I totally missed the question, but okay.
Oh, Goku has a brother. What is his name?
Okay. So, I think she has to know that.
She says he knows it. Okay. Well, in the sake of time, I'm just going to roll it here. Goku has a brother.
Oh no.
What is his name?
Raditz.
That's right.
Really?
Yeah.
Come on,
Remember him because of his tail. Always had a thing for Raditz.
Oh.
Man.
She said that in the interview. She loves Reddit. So.
She does. We all know she has a crush on Raditz. So here comes your correct answer tone. All right, so now we're gonna start the real game. So without further ado, are you ready to enter the gauntlet of Does Mitsuki's mom know?
Yeah, I suppose.
I suppose. Wow, so enthusiastic.
All right, well here we go. Good luck to you. Can you name one of the original starter Pokemon?
Did you catch that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so, because Mitz would have been playing that, so.
Would he though? Did you listen to the Hobby Addicts where we interviewed his mom?
Yeah.
Did you learn about young Mitz?
Oh God.
Yeah, well, I mean, he pirated things, so might have pirated that.
From here until the end of time, I will be known as Mitsuki the Pirate.
Yes. Arr, matey.
Arr. All right, so you said she's gonna know it?
Yeah.
All right, let's find out. Can you name one of the original starter Pokemon?
Pikachu.
Okay, I think that's right.
And also, I can think of one other one.
Yeah, which other one?
Meowitz? Was there a Meowitz?
No, there was a Meowth,
Should have
Meowth,
quit while she
but
was
he
ahead.
wasn't a starter Pokemon.
Okay.
Pikachu is not
Pikachu is not a starter?
Oh, it wasn't?
Nope.
No.
Squirtle, Bulbasaur, and
Most
Charmander.
definitely not.
Oh shit!
Pikachu was a starter in the
I thought that was right.
In the anime he was, and in Pokemon Yellow. But
Yeah.
so I guess it
So
really kind of
technically.
depends on what you mean.
Well, I thought it was right.
Well, I guess if it's the anime, then it is right, isn't it?
I think so. I think it was right.
Yeah, we'll allow it.
Okay, here we go. All right, good job. We're 1 for 1 with a little bit of debate
Okay.
in there, but we're gonna the judges have spoken, so we're gonna move on to the second question and see if we can keep this hot streak rolling. Ready?
Yeah.
What is the name of the dog in Cowboy Bebop?
Oh my god.
She won't know that.
Damn, she's so confident.
Dude,
When she says it, she
I
says it
back
with
Katie's
authority.
I
confidence.
know. It's like I believe you.
She's like, you know what? She won't know it.
Maybe she's trying to like hypnotize us and make us believe, even though your mom's like she's gonna give the right answer, but we'll be like, nope, she didn't know it.
Am I locking you in?
But Katie was so confident.
Yeah.
All right, we're locking it in. Here we go. What is the name of the dog in Cowboy Bebop?
Ein.
That's right.
Oh,
Oh, no.
I'm on a roll.
I'm surprised by that.
Yeah. I don't know.
I
She
am
just-
really surprised.
Sometimes she just pulls it right out of the air.
Yeah.
Yeah, you never know. All right, well, unfortunately that wasn't correct, but you're still in the game. You got to get 2 out of 3 now. So
She's 2-1 currently.
no, she's 1 on 1. We've only done 2 questions.
Oh, the Raditz one was a warm up. My
That's
bad.
right.
Oh, my bad.
All right, so are you ready for the third question, Katie?
Yeah.
We got to get you back on track here.
Yeah.
Joseph Joestar is known by what common nickname?
Oh, God.
We all know the answer.
Oh, I hope
all
she
know
knows
it.
Yeah.
I wonder if she
Joe.
knows this.
But will my mother know?
She'll know that, maybe. So, yeah, she knows that.
All right. Am I locking you in?
Yes.
All right, for your sake, Katie, I hope you're right. Here we go. And does she know it? Show me JoJo. Joseph Joestar is known by what common nickname?
Joseph Joestar.
Ooh.
Common nickname?
Oh no.
Common nickname.
Oh, I don't like this.
Oh.
Cowboy Bebop.
What?
No.
Oh.
What?
JoJo.
Aw. Oh wow.
Has she seen JoJo?
I have no idea.
Probably not.
I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know.
Cowboy Bebop.
Cowboy Bebop, baby.
Well, I think that came right after the Ein question.
Okay.
So she was thinking Cowboy Bebop. I don't know. I don't know what goes through her head.
She's a slippery fish.
Okay, yeah. Okay, well, we can go with that. All right, Katie. You're on your last legs here. We're on life support, but we're not dead yet. Kind of like the guy from Monty Python. So.
Okay.
One
It's
more
merely
time.
a flesh wound.
I'm quite dead. I'm not dead yet. You'll be shown dead in a minute. All right, ready for the next question?
Yeah.
Violet Evergarden features a female
jeez.
main character who pursues a profession called what?
Oh my God, are you serious right now? That's a tough question.
I will tell you that
She just watched it. She watched
that
it
show,
twice.
She did.
Mm-hmm. She's gotta know that one. I have too much faith in your mother.
Yeah, I think you do.
I have too much
Katie
faith
says she's going to know it with authority.
I feel like Katie says everything with authority,
She does.
even when it's wrong.
I respect it. I respect it.
Am I locking
Just,
you in,
that's
Katie?
how I roll. Yes.
All right. For $5,000, show me Auto Memory Doll. Violet Evergarden features a female
jeez.
main character who pursues a profession called what?
Auto memory doll.
Oh!
That's
There
right.
it
Oh,
is.
what was
my
that,
goodness.
Cosmo? What?
There it is.
Wow. I did not see that coming. That might
She
be
did say she watched it twice, though.
This is why we don't
Doing
ask
it.
you, Kazuo.
Hey, nobody asked. If you had asked me, I might have given you the right answer. You don't
It
know.
could be. Katie, this is now your final question. You either get it or you don't. It's do or die. It's win or lose. Are you ready?
Yep.
These always go right to the wire. I love it. Initial D features what kind of sport?
Mm.
Oh God.
We all know it's.
Now, this is
we all know
kinda
it's
tough.
auto racing.
Yeah, drifting to be exact.
She's not gonna know that one.
This music it plays on ominously over all of us.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
Car racing, I think.
That's right.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Oh.
We just can't. We can't win.
Why?
Does Mitsuki's mom know?
It's impossible.
We can't win.
She-
Well, I do appreciate that you called in and helped us have a fun game for people to listen to. And even though you didn't win the game, my mom still loves you. I think.
Oh, thank you.
And that's the real prize, isn't it?
That is.
Oh yes.
to be fair, she loves everyone.
Well,
She's a giant hippie.
she's crunchy vanilla. All right, Katie, thanks for playing.
No problem. See you guys later. Bye.
Katie.
We just can't win this game.
I know. It's
It's so-
crazy. Because you just can't guess what she does and doesn't know.
So she knows Initial D because I watched all of that while I was in high school.
Right.
Right. That was my train of thought as well.
But I honestly didn't expect her to get Ein
No
when I
way.
was asking the questions. That was not a question
Yeah.
designed for her to answer.
I didn't expect her to get Auto Memory Doll because I don't even remember that's
She watched that show 2 times.
That's true.
So
Man,
you just never know. She's a slippery fish.
I know.
All right. Well, we're done with that. So shall we move on?
Let's do it.
Do I even have the drop for the other thing?
It's a good question.
I don't even think
You
I have.
tell me, Mitz.
I don't even think I have this drop. But the next segment is hot new anime releases. So there is one that kind of popped up on the radar today that I noticed, and it's that Mahou Shoujo Madoka Magica is getting a TV anime from its video game spinoff. The game.
Oh, I saw this.
The
Yeah.
game Magia Record Mahou Shoujo Madoka Magica Gaiden is getting a TV anime next year. That the production studio hasn't been announced yet, but people are saying it's Studio Shaft, which I think did the original Madoka Magica anyway, so they're kind of making an assumption there. In Kamihama City, girls gather led by a mysterious power. This place is where they can be the way they are. They fight with the power from the witch. Iroha Tamaki came to the city in search of her sister, Ui, who went missing. Iroha begins to search for the whereabouts of Ui with the help of magical girls. Soon, Homura Ikemi from Mitakihara City arrives to Yokohama City. There might be a way to save Madoka when knowing the mystery of this street. Another hope born from two girls from the two different cities meet. That's a really bad synopsis.
Yeah, that was not great.
So, does anybody... I know we're familiar with Madoka Magica. That was a terrible synopsis that I got off of probably my anime list. But are we excited about this anime coming out next year? And it's a Madoka Magica. I think people crap their pants.
Sure.
Yeah, sure. Like, I'll definitely give it a little listen or watch, but I'm not necessarily looking forward to it.
I am.
So, yeah, I'm
Man, he's looking forward to it. I haven't. So small confession, I haven't actually seen Madoka Magica. So this was an anime we covered on the podcast like 8 years ago, and I just never watched it for whatever reason. So it just wasn't. I don't know. I think it's. I was busy or something, so I'm not particularly excited about it. But because of how much other people love Madoka Magica, I think it'll probably get a lot of buzz, and it's probably worth mentioning that it's coming out. So in case people were previously unaware. All right, who wants to handle the trivia? I don't remember who the blue color is.
Oh, that's me.
Oh, go ahead then.
So, of course, you can head over to our website. Every week we have a trivia question on there for you to answer, and you can even win fabulous prizes if you do so. This week's answer was Inuyasha, and there were
everybody and their mother got
a
it.
metric buttload of correct answers.
It had half of Songo in the picture.
Oh.
And her black and pink like bodysuit is kind of impossible to mistake. So.
That's right.
Yeah. It's like, oh yeah, I remember that bodysuit anywhere.
Yeah, I'll never forget. All right, so a ton of correct answers. The winner of the week, though, is Midnight Crew.
That's right.
And the current theme is going to continue to be isekai anime.
Yeah, we're on our last one now. So we will be giving out the winner for the month next week, and the new question has already been posted on the website. So head over to AAAPodcast.com and scroll down a bit, and you'll see the question, and you can enter your name into the drawing to win the trivia.
Now, of course, if you're impatient and you don't want to wait, you don't want to go there, we have an in-show weekly trivia question as well.
Do?
Yes, which we will answer after our news break. It says here, which of the following is not a profession featured in the anime Golden Boy? We've got software engineer, swimming coach, political campaign worker, and sushi chef. So which one is not featured in the anime? Let us know, and we'll tell you the answer right after the break.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Hey everybody, this is Mitsuki, and it's time for your first anime news break. Well, we've been following this story for a while, and it looks like finally Yutaka Yamamoto, otherwise known as Yamakon, the director of Wake Up Girls, Kanagi, and other shows, has finally officially been banned by Twitter for the remarks that he makes seemingly every month on his Twitter account. So he has both had his personal Twitter account and that of his Twilight Studio, both suspended. So on his blog, Yamakon said that he was not surprised by the suspensions and criticized Twitter for its absurdity. He said that he plans to inquire about these suspensions, but he's already received a message from Twitter. The message said that his account has been suspended for violating Twitter's rules against abusive, threatening, and discriminatory behavior, at which Yamakon ended his blog post saying that he thinks that it may be better to use accounts under pseudonyms, and that he said that his, quote, courteousness has run out. So maybe a war is breaking out with Yamakon and Twitter. So exciting. We'll follow this as it continues. Next, Golden Kamui's second season now has a date. The 39th issue of Young Jump magazine revealed on Thursday that Golden Kamui Season 2 will premiere on Tokyo MX, Sapporo TV, and other channels on October 8th. The first season of Golden Kamuy premiered on the 9th of April, and Crunchyroll, of course, streamed this series with English subtitles. So if you're a fan of Golden Kamuy, the second season is going to be in the fall, and it's starting October 8th, so look out for that coming up pretty soon. Next up, more anime releases, this time from Netflix. Netflix has announced that they're going to be releasing The Last Hope anime as well as Piano no Mori in the West, both in September, with The Last Hope premiering on September 14th and Piano no Mori releasing on September 28th. These shows have already been out for a while in Japan, with The Last Hope premiering on March 29th, and also Piano no Mori premiered on the NHK on April 8th. So it's not like these anime are particularly new, but now people will finally get to watch them on Netflix, which is oftentimes the complaint with Netflix as to having to wait too long to watch things. If you're a fan of either Piano no Mori or Last Hope, look out for these coming out in September. And rounding us out this time on our news, we have some interesting news from Dragon Quest Builders 2, which was a pretty popular game both in Japan and in the West when the first one came out some years ago. It looks like this game is going to ship in Japan on December 20th. The title of the game is Dragon Quest Builders 2 Hakaigami Shido to Karapo no Shima, Dragon Quest Builders 2 God of Destruction, Mayloth and the Empty Island. This game is going to be based on the events after Hargoth's death in Dragon Quest II. A religious organization arose in his place and inherited his will, and the peace brought by Hargon's death started to crumble. The goal of the organization was the destruction of the world. The organization begins to destroy towns and castles in places all over the world, and not much remains in the lives of the people. To this organization, the builders are a hindrance and must be eradicated. The organization captures the protagonists and throws them into jail. So for those of you that are fans of Dragon Quest, and remember the events of Dragon Quest II, this game will take place directly after that in the timeline, and will no doubt be another charming entry into the video game franchise. This was Mitsuki, and this was your anime news break. Now, time to get back to the podcast.
Mandy, I've got a great idea.
All right, let's hear it.
Okay, what if, now hear me out, what if we did additional episodes? I'm talking hobby addicts, after parties, maybe even hentai episodes, if you're nasty.
Well, I mean, we already do all of those.
Hold on, what?
Yeah, we've been doing that for like years.
How did I not know about this?
You've been in like a ton of those episodes.
Come on, Mandel.
My name is Mandy.
Okay, Medward. You know I don't pay attention to things like that.
Like yourself speaking?
Huh? Well, I'm glad now we're making millions off these extra episodes.
Actually, they're only like a couple bucks a month.
Wait, what?
Yeah, if you go to AAAPodcast.com/join, you can sign up to get access to all of our extra podcast goodness for just a few bucks a month.
Whoa, that is a steal. All right, so where do I go to sign up?
I just told you. AAAPodcast.com/join. And besides, you're in those episodes.
Huh?
Just go to AAAPodcast.com/join already.
この番組は JList.com の提供でお送りします。ザ・アニメアディクツアノニマスポッドキャストプレゼンツカズオ vs ザ・キャットバス
Who do you got for number one?
I have the cat bus from My Neighbor Totoro. Shichikokoyama Hospital.
Okay.
That's where the cat bus goes.
Yeah, but like, what are the cat bus's combat abilities?
It has the most powerful headlights in history on its eyeballs. It could blind you drastically with its eyeballs.
That's the worst.
It can run on telephone wires. You know how nimble that is? That agility.
All right,
such
you know
agility,
what?
such grace. Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Does the cat bus not have about 10 legs?
Does it have 10 legs? Yes, true.
Do cats have claws?
Yeah.
How many claws does a cat have on every paw?
Oh, I don't know. Like
It's 5.
5? Okay.
That is 50 razor sharp blades coming
But
at you.
look at it.
It's like a bowling ball covered in butcher knives.
It's
coming at your ass. Yeah, that cat bus is terrifying. That son of a bitch is coming at you.
It does look terrifying.
It's literally screaming all the time. It would take you to the Shichikokoyama Hospital after it beats your ass.
It's gonna beat your ass and take you to the hospital.
Yeah.
And now, back to the podcast.
And we're back with with episode 437.
I love that
His
little
music's so pretty.
Yeah, it really is.
To the illustrious Chopin, Frederick Chopin's Raindrop Prelude.
Wow.
Oh.
We had an intro trivia question.
We did.
Which one of you lovely, beautiful people would like to read it?
I will. So before the break, we had an intro weekly trivia question that you could answer while we took a break. And that question was, which of the following is not a profession featured in the anime Gold Boy? The choices are software engineer, swimming coach, political campaign worker, and sushi chef. The answer is sushi chef.
Oh.
The 6 professions that were actually featured in the show, as written here, are software engineer, swimming coach, noodle shop worker, political campaign worker, manga animation runner, and Japanese onsen housekeeper. Did you guys know that? I did not know that. I couldn't answer that question.
It has been ages since I've seen Golden Boy, so
Yeah.
no.
I
don't remember.
I saw it not too long ago, and I definitely remember him cooking something. I just couldn't remember if it was sushi or not, so I assumed that was the right answer.
Golden Boy is close to a masterpiece.
Well, that's
It's
that's an
close.
opinion.
I love it so much, and I'm about to drop Serious De Niro for an anime cell. From
Oh,
Golden Boy.
nice.
There are some
Wait.
nice ones available.
Like De Niro?
Like some cashola.
Okay.
Like
Like Robert De Niro?
Like maybe 2.
De
Cashola.
Niro.
Like maybe 2 or 3 bills.
Bill De Niro?
No, get out of here. All right. Well, and on that note, we do have another equally soothing and lovely segment for you, Mandy's Manga Minutes. Should we just call it Manga
Hello.
Minutes now?
Hello.
It is Mandy's Manga Minute.
And without
I'm so
further-
excited for you to talk about this one.
I knew it. I did it for your birthday.
Wow.
Oh my god.
Wow.
That's love right there. There's nothing but love, just spinning and circling around and spiraling.
I think I'm going to be
Just
sick.
amazing.
Loves.
All right, here
Much love.
comes your drop.
And now, let's take a minute for the Manga Minute with Mandy.
You go, girl.
Alrighty, so this is Mandy's Manga Minutes, where I take a couple minutes to tell you about a manga that you may or may not have heard of, and hopefully help you find something new to read. This week I'm doing Horimiya, and although admired at school for amiability and academic prowess, high school student Kyoko Hori has been hiding another side of her. With her parents often away from home due to work, Hori has to look after her younger brother and do the housework, leaving no chance to socialize away from school. Meanwhile, Izumi Miyamura is seen as a brooding, glasses-wearing otaku. However, in reality, he is a gentle person inept at studying. Furthermore, he has 9 piercings hidden behind his long hair and a tattoo along his back and left shoulders. By sheer chance, Hori and Miyamura cross paths outside of school, neither looking at each other, looking as the other one expects. These seemingly polar opposites become friends, sharing with each other a side they may have never shown to anyone else. Horimiya is a romantic comedy with the story written by Hiro and the artwork done by Daisuke Higawara. It first published in 2011, and there are currently 11 volumes out in English. They're available in both print and digitally, and there are also a 3-episode OVA available, but it only shows like a tiny fragment of the overall story. The synopsis of Horimiya sounds very much like a rehash of a high school romantic comedies that we've already seen, and I originally started the series because I was intrigued by a character covered in tattoos not being portrayed as some criminal or Yakuza's son. He's like a completely normal and very sweet guy. Then over the series, I realized it was very interesting. I was pleasantly surprised to see the romance take turns that we don't typically see in anime and manga, especially in high school relationships. Their relationship brings up conflicts that I wasn't expecting. Like, for an example, what do I do if my girlfriend wants me to be more aggressive? But overall, I really like the characters. I think my only real issue with it is Hori brings up like a reoccurring joke that I'm not a fan of. But other than that, I've been really enjoying Horimiya. I can't say that I really intend to finish like every manga that I bring up in Mandy's Manga Minute, but I'm currently caught up on Horimiya. I've been collecting it for a while. I have all 11 volumes that are out right now. And it's a very cute romantic comedy, and if you want a story with like a confirmed relationship, then this one could be for you.
It's awesome.
I have yet to see Mandy's bookshelf.
Oh, she posted pictures on Twitter.
Oh. I want to see it.
Follow her at Sarquindi01 to see those pictures.
Oh, you haven't seen them?
If you would like to see Mandy's bookshelf, you can follow Mandy on Twitter at Sarquindi01. That's SARQUINDI01.
Yep.
It's impressive.
This was also our first manga club title. And me and Enzo were in that one. It was the only one. Oh no, Enzo's been in 2 of them. He did that one and my experience with my lesbian experience with loneliness.
Well, this one had a fucking cute dude with tattoos and a cute girl getting together and doing
I remember
stuff.
right before we did manga club, I was like, "Oh, Enzo, this one's for you."
Yeah, it's pretty perfect. I am not caught up, but I bought, I believe, like 7 volumes or more than 7 volumes. I forgot, but yeah, I love it. I should catch up sometime.
So, what manga are you guys doing for manga club right now?
Right now, we're doing the Drops of God, which I did for Mandy's Manga Minute last week. Next up after that, we're doing Bloom Into You, which is the Yuri title that I have up.
Have you done Monster yet?
Yes, we did. We did Monster last week.
And how do people like Monster?
Everybody loved it. That was in our group, at least.
Right. Okay, well, thank you for that. And now we have the main topic for the show, which is unexpected and memorable anime alliances suggested by Mason. Now, Mason wanted it to just be unexpected anime alliances, but I wasn't really sure if
there were that many of them.
There were enough of them, so that at least that I could think of. And so I did think of a few that I thought were qualified, so I put them at the top of my list. But the other ones, I just counted them as memorable alliances.
Well, Mitz, I also.
Oh God, no!
Oh no, not again!
I also did a bit of research for this topic, and by a bit of research, I mean I googled it, and I found. I can't even say it. I'm laughing.
Oh my god!
The top 10 anime teams or team ups.
Oh God!
All right.
Well, we'll see how many of these are on either of the lists we have on here.
Number 10 is the Lagoon Company from Black Lagoon.
Cool.
Okay.
It's an alliance. It's an alliance of a group of people.
Okay.
Number 9, Team Rocket from Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Number 8, the Survey Corps from Attack on Titan.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Number 7, the Magical Girls from Madoka Magica.
All right.
Okay.
Number 6, the Z Warriors. I mean, come on. That's
Who
epic.
calls them
Nobody
Z-
calls them that, but
Yeah, I
holy
was
shit.
just gonna say no one calls them the Z Warriors.
In the show, they referred to them as the Z Warriors.
Z Fighters.
Oh, that's right. It was the Z Fighters.
That's right. It was.
Yeah, close enough. Same difference.
This website's a bunch of noobs.
Number 5, Team Yorumeshi from Yu Yu Hakusho. Come on, dude.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Best aesthetic team.
Yep. Number 4, the Straw Hat Pirates from One Piece.
Boo.
Yeah, whatever. I don't watch One Piece. I should, but it's
No,
too
you
much.
shouldn't.
Number 3 is just says the Alchemist from Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Okay.
All right.
It's the most generic list ever.
Yeah. Number 2.
Anything but shonen on here?
No,
No,
absolutely
apparently
not.
not.
Number 2 is Class E or 3E from Assassination Classroom, or as I like to refer to it, Ass Class.
And apparently the greatest team, the greatest team ever assembled is.
Number 1, the Akatsuki from Naruto Shippuden.
You gotta be shitting me.
They literally are all shonen.
Get out of here with this shonen shit.
This is brought to you by thetop10s.com.
And I like shonen shows, but let's have some more diversity. How about that?
Yeah.
So now that I've said that, the first 3 on my list are all shonen.
The first one.
So this is one that I thought was unlike, rather than just being a team, it's a very unexpected alliance, which is what I think the was intended by this topic. And the most unexpected thing I could think of was Frieza and Goku teaming up in Dragon Ball Super.
Okay.
Frieza hates Goku furiously. And Frieza is pure evil. One of the most evil characters you will ever find in an anime. Has killed millions, tens of millions of people, has destroyed thousands of planets, doesn't give a shit, and is killed by, well, not killed by Goku, killed by Trunks, I guess, but spends pretty much all of his time in hell hating and wanting to kill the Saiyans. And then he comes back and he ends up fighting alongside Goku and the rest in the universe tournament. And so I found that to be very unexpected. And you kind of just expect Frieza to backstab the shit out of them at any given moment.
I'm sure.
But I also don't want Dragon Ball Super to make Frieza this hero character all of a sudden, because that is not Frieza's character. And I don't want you to. I don't want this to become Symphogear, where every past villain becomes like a friend, and then they end up with like this growing like giant pile of heroes that were 90% of them were previous enemies. Let Frieza be an enemy.
Here's my question.
Don't ruin Frieza, please.
How is Frieza even on par with Goku at this point?
He becomes Golden Frieza.
Oh, that's right.
The story is that Frieza never trained a day.
Never trained a day
in his life. He was just that powerful. And then Frieza trained for a month and discovered another transformation called Golden Frieza. And so
Enzo's laughing.
Frieza's so
I love
talented that he's able to close the gap between Goku very quickly.
In a month, baby.
That is how Frieza's
So
powerful.
ridiculous.
I love shonen writing, baby. It's the best. It's good stuff.
Yeah, the writing in Dragon Ball Super, it has moments, but not overall not great. But please don't make Frieza a hero that you ruin. Because Frieza is probably, in fact, I did a Twitter poll asking this. I said, what is your favorite villain from Dragon Ball Z? Frieza by far won the poll. Had like 55% of the results, despite having 4 or 5 different villains in there. Don't ruin Frieza for everybody. Let Frieza be a bad guy.
Now I'm thinking, is Frieza my favorite villain from Dragon Ball Z?
Frieza might be my favorite villain from anything ever.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, if I were to pick somebody from Dragon Ball Z, it would be between Vegeta.
Vegeta's not a villain.
He was.
Vegeta was a villain for like 30 episodes and then has been a hero for like over 500 episodes.
I'm saying though, when he was a villain, it would be either him or Cell.
Okay, Cell is good.
Yeah, I don't know. Frieza's up there though. I don't know if it's like a revolving door. I don't know which one would be.
See, for me, it would be Frieza or Dr. Gero.
Oh, Dr. Gero.
Because he is also pure evil.
How about Garlic Jr.? Just kidding.
Garlic Jr.
Best villain.
Or Lord Slug. Oh my God,
that's a terrible movie.
I hate that movie.
It's so bad.
Oh my God, it made me so angry.
All right, but Mandy and Enzo, you guys have lists
Hi.
here. Hi, how are you?
I don't even recall the amount that I put down a list.
Yeah, I see.
He has one so far. That's a list.
Honestly, I think this topic is amazing, but you guys wrote out so many, and I couldn't think of anything more unique. I have like 2 that you guys didn't mention.
Yeah, we have like 25 on the list here.
Well, here's what I'll do. Because when I made my list, when I looked at the show notes, it just said unexpected alliances. So I tried sticking to unexpected alliances. Then when you add it memorable, I was like, oh, okay, I can add a few more. So
yeah,
I'm going to, but some of mine are very obvious, so I might skip around mine. So feel free to take one of mine if you want. But I'm going to try to do some of the ones that are lesser known.
We'll just all do it. Doesn't matter.
I'm sorry. We can all just pick from these lists. It's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whatever.
Sure. I put down Yuzuriha and Kusanagi from X because that one was kind of unexpected because Kusanagi was meant to be like the dragon of Earth who's, the enemy of the dragons of heaven. And they're supposed to be killing each other, but Kusanagi and of course, this is all coming with spoilers. All of these have spoilers attached to them. But at the end, he ends up teaming up with Yuzuriha and switches sides.
That's true. Yuzuriha Nakoi is the girl that can control animals.
Yeah, with the dog.
Yeah.
I saw X so long ago. I barely remember.
It's a fairly
the anime or the movie.
The movie.
The movie.
The movie's bad.
Okay.
Oh no. I'm sorry. Wait, was it the movie or the anime that's how long ago it was? Maybe I saw both. But I definitely remember it must have been the show because I remember being blown away by it.
It's good. The TV show's good.
Yeah. But I remember so little. I just remember like bits and pieces but I'm also terrible with names, so.
No. Well, Yuzuriha had a ghost dog named Inuki. It was so cute.
There's a lot of really cool characters in X. There's an awesome scene towards the end with Sorata Arishikawa, who when he grabs the weapon of one of the bad guys and electrocutes it and just fucking melts half that guy's body.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some epic fight scenes.
That show was insane.
Didn't Arashi also switch sides at one time? And she went to fight against Sorata?
I can't remember all Arashi. Yeah, she's the one with the sword.
That's an anime I'd like.
With the sword, yeah.
I think you're right about that, but I think that Sorata ends up trying to rescue her because he's he's one of the best characters in the show.
Sorata was like in love with her, and she was like, "Oh, I don't want him to kill himself for me." So then she switched sides. it made no sense.
How nice of her.
It's a good. It's
I know.
X is a kind of a forgotten anime that's pretty good.
That's something I'd like to go back
It's
and
a good
watch.
show. Yeah, it's a little slow in the beginning as they basically just introduce each of the characters. It takes forever, but then when they start fighting and it gets down to the nitty gritty, it becomes really good. I really like it.
And it's by Clamp, right?
Yeah, it's Clamp.
It's crazy because you don't think of like
So legs for
blood and
days.
guts for Clamp.
It's not super bloody and gutty.
Well, people are getting
It's probably should be PG-13.
sliced up and stuff.
They are. All right, so
Who is your favorite in X?
for me it was Sorata. He's awesome. He's so cool.
I'm trying to think.
Yeah, I'm looking up characters
shoot.
because I don't remember. Like, oh my god, these.
It definitely wasn't Kamui.
Megai.
It was neither of the Kamuis.
I'm trying to remember now. I'm drawing a blank. The name of the girl with the robot.
Oh,
Oh,
there's like
shoot,
20.
what was her
There's like
name?
25 characters in that show.
I
I just
know.
can't remember them all. There's just too many.
Conaway was their leader. What was her name? Now I forgot.
If you go to like my anime list and look at the cast, you'll find her.
That's what I'm doing.
Who wants to go next?
It doesn't matter. Just read. Yeah. Whatever.
Go ahead, Cosmo. Dive right
just
in.
pick
friend.
from.
There's
what,
one.
okay.
There's one on this list that's made for you.
Oh. Oh my. You know what, Mitz?
Just for you.
I appreciate
put that there
you.
just for you.
Mitz put my favorite team up of all time.
This goes into the memorable category. 'Cause
Yes.
It's not at all surprising.
No, not surprising at all, but very memorable. Was Krillin and Gohan in Dragon
Oh,
Ball Z
yeah.
on Planet Namek.
Planet Namek.
I love that team up so much. Partly because it was just so badass and they coordinated so well with each other, but also a part of me thought it was hilarious because Krillin is like a 40-year-old man and Gohan's like 12. And
Yeah.
and they're the same exact size and the same power level. And I just feel bad for Krillin.
Krillin really hangs in there for a lot of Dragon Ball though. He's involved in the fray pretty often for someone who's so weak.
He's the most powerful human on Earth.
I think it's got to be Tien.
I don't think so. I think I remember reading this somewhere.
I
mean,
mean-
it would be interesting to know which of them is more powerful.
There might have been one point
It's
where
definitely not Yamcha.
I mean, just think of the scene where Tien is holding down Imperfect Cell.
Yeah, that was
I
pretty
mean,
sick.
Krillin is not holding down Imperfect Cell.
That's true. That's just because he's comic relief. Like if they let him do his thing,
Yeah.
Krillin
He's also so
becomes-
small.
Krillins the biggest player.
dude. Yeah, you know what? Krillin may be small in stature, but he's got it where it counts apparently.
Yeah, he does.
He's got it where it definitely counts, man.
Because yeah, that dude has gotten like. Every
Didn't he
hot
date
chick in the show.
Maron?
Yeah, she was
Or-
not
Yep,
hot.
yep, Mary.
Oh my God, she's Jesus.
And Android 18 is
Jesus.
nothing to sniff at. She's pretty good looking.
So
Damn.
yeah,
Well,
that's
I'm,
one of my
I'm jealous of Krillin all of a sudden. What
Yeah.
the heck?
Krillin doesn't mess around, dude. He got a full thick head of hair as well, and a sick mustache.
He did surprisingly dark, black, lush hair.
He's got that Burt Reynolds mustache.
All right, Enzi, what do you got for us?
Yeah, so I think this one is also on the memorable side in terms of alliances. This one's a little on the nose. It is the Shinobi Alliance from Naruto. Because, as I mentioned before on the podcast, one of my favorite things that happens in anime is when the world opens up and you get to learn about like different factions of said world and said society. So I like that in Shippuden, after seasons and seasons of Naruto having like an enemy that's just like for him and not the world, eventually the drama of the show takes it to where there's like a world level villain that's trying to like wreck everyone, and therefore everyone is like, yo, we should probably work together, right? And then they do, and then it lends itself to several scenes where you have like the current Kage fighting the old Kage, you have like Naruto Sasuke fighting everybody really. You have Sasuke and Itachi eventually fighting as well next to each other, and so this like the alliance it spans it's a huge arc, the whole alliance war. But it is all to me like the highlights of all the arc of the highlights of the arc are all memorable to me. I find myself like in a YouTube hole sometimes where I look up like best fights in anime history, and a lot of them are Naruto because of all the like fights that happen in this arc and like before the arc too. But yeah, so in terms of alliances, I will always remember it is the Shinobi Alliance from Naruto, even though I'm not the biggest Naruto fan, but it's just good.
Well,
It's
good.
good.
It's good representation though. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
For me, the next one is one of the best shonen anime I think has ever been made, and that's Hunter x Hunter. And Hunter x Hunter has a section in it where Gon, Killua, and Hisoka all team up. And
Oh my god.
Gon and Killua is what you expect because they're like best friends in the show and they're always together. But Hisoka has been a villain the whole show. But he's kind
And a
of
pedo.
and a pedo basically. But Hisoka is one of those characters that he's a bad guy, but he's unpredictably bad. Like he has moments where he's not so bad and then moments where he is bad. But in the Greed Island arc, I believe it was, there are a number of scenes where Hisoka and Gon, especially because Hisoka kind of has a thing for Gon. I think Hisoka had a thing for Gon ever since Gon was able to lay some punches on him during one section of the show where they were having like tournament type fights. Gon lifts a piece of the fighting arena up off of the ground and throws it at Killua or throws it at Hisoka. Hisoka, it breaks into pieces. And in the debris, Gon is able to land a punch on Hisoka, and that's kind of why I think Hisoka has a thing for Gon because he sees his potential. But in that Green Island arc, there's a really goofy scene that I recall where they're like playing volleyball basically, and the main character, the bad guy on the other team, is ridiculously powerful, and he channels all of his energy into the volleyball and spikes it at the other team, and the three of them all work together to stop this spike. So like Gon catches it. Killua was there to support Gon and like keep him from flying out of the ring. And then Hisoka's there to like use his energy to stop the ball. And they're all kind of working together in tandem. And it's just interesting to see Hisoka sort of working together with these characters because you're always wondering if is he really a bad guy? Is he a good guy? Whatever. But really Hisoka does whatever fits his own needs at the time, I think. It's kind of the character he is. And so, but it's kind of cool to watch a character that was previously thought to be a bad guy working together with the main characters. So
Totally.
And Hunter x Hunter is a really freaking good show. I mean, it just is. There's some of the best fighting action you'll ever see in shonen is in Hunter x Hunter. So can't recommend it enough.
I really need to watch Hunter x Hunter. It's on my list. Eventually.
Yeah, same.
It's really nice. It's good.
Actually, Icy Rose helped me out. It was Satsuki. That was her name. The one, the girl in X with the big robot. I think it was called, was it Beast or Monster? I think it was Beast because I think that had 666 written on it. But yeah. I put down Josuke and Rohan from JoJo Diamond is Unbreakable.
Joe!
Because, oh man, this is such a silly, like, somewhat alliance. When they first meet each other, Rohan and Josuke, they hate each other so much. Like, I remember when they first go to his house, it was, they went to his house and Rohan attacks, oh shoot, now I'm forgetting his name. Oh shoot, the little boy. Why can't I remember his name?
I've only watched about a third of Diamond is Unbreakable, so.
Koichi, I think his name is, yeah.
Let's roll with it.
But, I'm sorry, I've been really bad with names lately. Koichi, but he attacks him and, like, uses Heaven's Door to try and read, like, stuff of, like, read into, like, white, like about stands. And then Josuke goes to save him, and Rohan makes fun of his hair and sends him into a rage. Makes fun of his big pompadour, and then just from there on, they're constantly at each other's throats. Like Josuke sets his house on fire, sets Rohan's house on fire.
But then later you make fun of a pompadour?
Yeah,
overrated.
Excuse me.
But and then when they run up against the stand Highway Go-Go, it latches onto Rohan and like almost kills him, and like because it's sucking out his nutrients. And then Josuke comes along and Highway Go-Go's like, yeah, if you pull him in here, I'll detach from you and get his nutrients, and then I'll let you live. And then it had like one of my favorite JoJo memes, which is the I refuse one. So yeah, and then at that moment, because they weren't friends, but he risked his life to save Josuke, and I thought that was funny. I love Rohan. Anytime I get a chance to mention Rohan, I'm gonna do it.
Any chance.
We can sense the passion and the love.
He's like one of my favorites. I love him.
But don't ever make fun of a man.
Such a weirdo.
Never insult a man's pompadour.
That's right. And you don't have one still.
Nope.
And I'm mad. I'm getting mad about it.
Never. You're getting mad.
I am.
It angers you.
It does. You have such potential, and I see. Like here I am with no hair,
Right.
and here you are with potential. You still have that fire in you. You that fiery
that
passion
spark.
that represents a pompadour, and you have that potential to do it, and you're just wasting it. So some of us would kill for a pompadour, but here you are throwing it away like it's nothing.
Enzo could do a pompadour.
I definitely cannot do a pompadour.
See,
Damn, I was
only
trying to-
you
trying to
can
pass
do
the
it.
buck.
Yeah, see.
The YouTube chat says that we need to get Mitsuki a pompadour wig.
That's a good idea.
I would love
Stay
that.
tuned for GoFundMe details.
I would love that.
So I pulled up a couple other like teams and team ups and things like that in anime. If you want, I can.
Oh boy.
Hey, no, I looked them up myself. These aren't ones I got from a top 10 list.
So good, because these top 10 lists are terrible.
I know. So the first one I came up with is from a shonen. It's from My Hero Academia, and it's specifically the team up where it's Midoriya, Ida, and Todoroki, and when they're fighting Hero Killer Stain in the back alley, and that was like
Oh, yeah.
yeah, you know what I'm talking about. That was a badass
Oh, yeah.
scene, and they're all like,
I love that fight scene.
yeah, it was really incredible. So they all worked well together, and they ended up utilizing their quirks cohesively to fight this guy who is murdering professional heroes all over the place, and these three kids just kind of go all out in this pretty spectacular just series of scenes. So that was a lot of fun for me. I really enjoyed that. Like to see more. I haven't watched the most recent season, so I need to.
You haven't watched any of the new season of My Hero
I think
Academia?
I watched the first couple episodes, but I don't watch things week to week, So, but I'll get to it when we review it.
All right. I caught up on Major Second last night.
Yeah, it's a waste of time.
It's freaking great.
Oh yeah, so I got one. Again, this is just like a memorable alliance. Like it's a quote unquote alliance, but it's because these two personalities like are so different, but they feed off each other well. And it's Ryusuke and Koyuki from Beck.
Ooh, nice.
You and your Beck.
Because listen, man.
The man
Listen,
loves
this duo is memorable because Ryusuke is like an older brother. Ends up being like an older brother to Koyuki, but like they are so different in pretty much every way. Koyuki is shy, not confident, like not experienced with girls, none of that. Ryusuke is very experienced in all of those things. He's not shy. He's very confident in his talent. And they kind of feed off each other. I think that Koyuki kind of like just by being himself, like lets Ryusuke get in touch with like his the side of him that shows empathy and humility, and then Ryusuke tries his best to give Koyuki confidence to achieve the potential that he sees in him, and they do that through music. Beck is obviously a show about a band that these two guys are in called Beck, and I've never been able to forget this anime. I think about it all the time. It's always in the back of my my consciousness. And to me, these two and the band in general, because the band is made up of characters that are very different from each other.
Yeah, Chiba,
especially
Chiba's my
Chiba.
dude.
Yeah, Chiba's all the way up, and Koiki's all the way down. In the middle, you have Saku, the drummer. Taira's like between Ryusuke and Saku. That's a cool bassist dude. Ryusuke is just cool and calm and confident, and it's just good. Like they make a great a great cast that I wish I could know in real life. Like I wish I knew these dudes in real life. So to me, Ryusuke and Koyuki, like expected because of plot, but in real life unexpected to be such great friends considering how like different they are.
I'll be your Chiba, Enzo.
Wow, I'll be your Koyuki.
Aww.
Well,
Wow.
there it is.
There
Okay.
it is.
So my next one, I'm going to move into a different area here. Another unexpected alliance is Takumi Fujiwara and the Takahashi brothers from Initial D.
Nice.
For the first good bit of Initial D, Takumi and the Takahashi brothers are rivals, basically. The Takahashi brothers run the racing team called the Red Suns.
Yep. They're the ones that drive in the FC and the FD.
Yep.
They're both RX-7s.
Yep. And Takumi isn't really affiliated and takes both of them down. But even though they're known to be pretty much the top racers in the area, especially Ryosuke Takahashi. And what happens is that eventually Ryosuke ends up, or I think is it Keisuke Takahashi. I can't remember which one of the brothers it is that disbands the Red Suns, but they disband the Red Suns and they form a racing team called Project D, which is made up of them, others, and Takumi Fujiwara himself, and their goal is to dominate the entire street racing scene for that region of Japan, and really the whole of Japan. And they actually want to take it professional as well. But I never got that far into the manga. I got like 20 volumes in or whatever.
Yeah.
But it was definitely interesting to see these previous enemies joining up to form an alliance, to form like an uber team. It's almost like when like LeBron James joins like, his rival in another city so they can form like a super team. One of those. It'd be like if LeBron James and Kobe Bryant hated each other and then they joined a team together and then won like the national championship. That would be like what's happening here, just in a totally different sport. So Initial D, so good, especially in its early stages. Freaking unbelievable.
Nice.
That's it.
All right, Mandy.
Cool. I put down Shida Yuki and Raj from Snow White with the Red Hair as like an unexpected alliance. And this is going to have spoilers for later on. But when the show first starts, Shida Yuki catches the attention of Prince Raj, and he wants to, because she has this like really striking red hair, he wants to turn her into his concubine, and she's not cool with that. Of course, she can't like tell a prince no, so she decides to run away to a neighboring kingdom, and then there she meets Prince Zen, and then they become friends, and she works really hard to become the court herbalist, and later on
Herbalist.
Herbalist. Yeah. And then later on, she ends up meeting Raj again because, of course, there's throughout the entire show, she's like, her and Zen are falling in love with each other. But she's like, even though she's like the court herbalist, she's like a commoner still. So she's not on the same level as Zen, and they can't really be together. So then later on, Raj does come back, and it was really surprising when he came back. He kind of sees like the error of his ways, and then ends up bestowing like a title upon her, like a royal like title, and so she has she's more like has the ability to get up to Zen's level eventually, so that they could be together.
Wow.
Yeah.
The power of love.
The power of love.
Nice. All right. Well, my next one is a throwback. But it's a show that does not get enough respect. Damn it.
Well, yeah. Well, you're right about that.
And that is Lupin the Third.
Yeah, Lupin the Third gets no respect at all.
It depresses me every season that every time a new season of Lupin comes out, the amount of people that watch it is so depressing because it's so few.
Like 10 people.
It's ridiculous. But for me, specifically with Lupin the Third, it has to be the partnership between Lupin and Jigen. Because those two are like always in it together.
Yeah.
Of course, you also have, Fujiko, who will show up from time to time.
Yeah, but that bitch is always trying to rip them off.
And Goemon, he's in there, but you just don't see him as often.
He comes and goes.
Yeah, but it really comes down to Lupin and Jigen. And
two brothers.
Two bros. The broiest of bros.
That's right.
Out there trying to make a dime in this dog-eat-dog world.
Trying to make a couple diamonds here and there.
A couple diamonds.
Yeah.
And I love their partnership. I love Lupin's just how like out there he is, and Jigen is very like buckled up and very structured, and it's cool how they work off of each other, and it's really enjoyable.
I think Lupin drives Jigen crazy.
100%.
Yeah.
Jigen is so frustrated with Lupin all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, they work really well together, and I really like their chemistry. So
I feel like there's also a couple episodes of Lupin the Third where Lupin and Zenigata team up. I couldn't actually remember.
They do from time to time. Yeah, when things are popping off, and Zenigata is normally like, all right, well, when this is over, I'm taking you in, and it just never works out that way.
Well, yeah, and there's episodes where Zenigata has the opportunity to capture Lupin, but he doesn't. He lets him go.
Right.
And you can tell he just actually in his heart he loves Lupin, and
he respects him.
Can't bear to not have chasing Lupin to be part of his life.
Right now, Lupin Part 5.
This is so pathetic.
Is available I think has a couple episodes left, and this is the most depressing thing ever. There are 13,000 people on my anime list watching it.
That's
it.
That's just gross.
That is, and I know 13,000 sounds like a lot, but
Wow, it's
it is
nothing.
absolutely not.
That is means it's probably one of the bottom of the season.
And it's damn good.
Well, people would rather watch other things, I guess. All right, Enzi, what do you got?
Yeah, so I actually have someone from the YouTube chat mentioned a duo that I actually really think we overlooked in our list, and that is Yusuke and Kuwabara from Yu Yu Hakusho.
Oh my god, of course.
Well, I think that was on the top 10 list that we mentioned.
Oh yeah, it was the whole.
Oh, it was.
team.
It was. I guess the whole Urimechi team, but I think those two specifically can deserve a shout out. But because of that, I'll move on to another suggestion from the YouTube chat that was actually right up my alley too, and that is Sentaro and Kaoru from Sakamichi no Apollo, or Kids on the Slope for the English title, because just like Ryusuke and Koyuki, Sentaro and Kaoru, totally different people, and then even musically their tastes don't align, but they eventually meet a middle ground where it allows them to jam together and make jazz together. Sentaro loving, jazz for jazz's core, which is, offbeat, very fast-paced, interesting, not predictable music, and Kaoru being trained as a classical pianist for his whole life. And then they meet in the middle where, well, not really meet in the middle. I think Kaoru ends up learning how jazz can be enjoyed through Sentaro, and they go on to make music together and jam all the time, even perform live at one point in the show, and they become amazing friends. And I think the last musical performance the show gives us, where it's a talent show of the high school, that performance there is probably one of my favorite musical performances in all of anime. Beats out a lot of Beck's performances in Beck, and even beats out Nano's performances too. Definitely beats out K-on's performances, because it doesn't really happen ever. So I think Sentaro and Kaoru is a good duo. I'm glad that Matthew Jones in the chat brought that one up, because I love that. I love that anime.
I feel like we all missed the best partnership in anime. Mitsuki and Kazuo.
Oh god.
Wow.
Brofist over here.
Brofist.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, so
where is it?
My next one is JP and Cherry Boy Hunter Sonoshe from Redline.
Oh, nice.
They start out as rivals, sort of, and then they end up lovers. They do.
Yeah.
In the Redline race, Sonoshe wrecks her car, and they end up racing together in the same vehicle.
Right.
And I won't say how the race ends up, but let's just say
I will say it gets racy.
What?
See what I'm saying?
That is
racy.
awful. Wow.
Come on. Nope. Come on, guys.
No. I don't accept this timeline.
All right. Well, it was good podcast. See you guys later.
Ridiculous.
I'm sorry. That's what I'm here for.
Well, so we'll just say that the race finishes by a hair. I'll just say that.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but yeah, Cherry Boy Hunter is like the beautiful woman who, like, always dreamed of being a racer, and always dreamed of winning the red line. And JP, sweet JP, was basically
Sweet JP. I love it.
Basically, a guy who was fixing races, like truly talented, but was never really playing by the books. And then one day decides, he actually wants to compete in the red line, and they're kind of flirting the whole show. They go out to dinner, and he rides her back on some kind of like a motorcycle, and it's kind of romantic, but in the end, it really does all come together. So it's like a beautiful mixture of romance and action in Redline, and that movie's amazing.
Yeah.
So.
Movie's amazing. Soundtrack's amazing.
By the way, I think this is the last one for each of us.
Okay.
So that's my last one.
No pressure.
All right. So I guess it's my turn?
Yep.
All right. So in that case, so this is going to be difficult for me to pick the two, but
you could talk the one and list the other.
So the show is Cowboy Bebop.
Okay.
The team up, I was kind of going between Jet and Spike, but then I was also like,
I know where you're going.
Ed and Ein.
Yep.
I just love God, I'm sorry, Jet and Spike, mad respect. I love their partnership, even though Spike is a terrible teammate.
He's terrible.
But Ed and Ein, dude, is where it's at. Like the way that they work together, and the fact that Ein, I love the music too. Especially that Ein is like such a genius, but he's a dog, so it's he can't really say anything. Like I just love their quirkiness and how much fun you're gonna have every time they're on the screen, and their music. Nice. That's a hilarious song. All right. Let's move on.
Okay. It's hard to move on from that, though, to be honest. My life is just a chicken bone.
All right, who's up next?
All right, Mandy. Is Mandy next?
Or was it Enzo?
I don't know.
Or Mandy?
I don't know.
One of you.
It's fine. Mandy could do the last one.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
But we each have a last.
Yeah, we each have a last one.
I don't really have another one.
You could
right
just
now.
use one of ours.
You
Pick from the list,
take
brother.
the other one that I put down, my last one.
There's 10 more on the list we haven't talked about.
Okay.
Okay. Mine is from King's Avatar, and if I mispronounce these names, I apologize. I swear I'm not doing it on purpose. But it was actually team ups between Ye Shao and pretty much a lot of people from other esports teams. Because at the beginning of King's Avatar, it starts with Ye Shu, I think his name is kicked off of his esports team, and then he starts going solo, and he's trying to make a new team, and he ends up teaming up with a lot of people who were once like rivals, and one of them named I'm so sorry if I mispronounced his name. I've been like scared to say it. Xiaoxian, I think his name is Xiaoxian. He was in the team Blue Rain, and they team up to clear the fastest record on Boneyard. It was kind of cool seeing him like team up with a bunch of other really skilled esports players who were like previously rivals. So, yeah.
I mean, those are tough names, man. Nobody could possibly blame you for not knowing how to pronounce them. That's Mandarin.
Yeah, I'm not great with being able to pronounce Chinese names, so I apologize.
You're not alone. I probably assure you.
So real quick, Chris in the chat says Unexpected Alliance, Kazuo, and Honeyfeed.
Oh my god. Well.
Oh, Morris Young said Shao, like show. Oh, yay show. Okay, sorry. Thank you.
Honeyfeed is the worst partner. By the way.
Another one that someone mentioned in the chat was Asta and Screaming from Black Clover.
Oh my god.
No.
Well, that's a painful alliance.
Yeah, it hurts.
I also had Kuroko with everybody.
Right, because of the movie, right?
Yeah, because of the movie. They eventually all team up together.
So are we done now, or
Enzo's
does
got his
anybody?
last one.
Enzo's got one more, right?
Yeah, I'll do one that I know is beloved to at least 3 of us here, and that's Hinata and Kageyama from Haikyuu. Because the boys are them damn boys, and they get that shit done. So yeah, that's it. That's all I got.
Yeah, I had a lot more on my list that I used in my thumbnail, so I apologize. I have to fix that.
Let's just list them.
I'm sorry.
I think we should just list the ones we had left because we should move on to Megalo Box.
Sure.
But so the ones I had left on my list were Migi and Shinichi from Parasite, which I think is kind of surprising considering Migi was probably intended to kill Shinichi. Ryoko and Satsuki versus Ragyo from Kill la Kill. They do team up in the end. So Guts and Griffith, which I think is good. May Hopkins and Rowley Vincent from Gunsmith Cats, and that's all I got.
I had Barry the Butcher and Ling and Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. I had Natsumi and Natsuri from Natsume Eugene Show. You already said Hinata, but Araragi and Kishot from the Monogatari series, and that was mine.
And I had Saber and Lancer at one point from Fate Stay Night. Unlimited Blade Works, I believe, is where they team up at one point.
Sounds good. All right, guys. So shall we head to the news break?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Thank you to Mason for suggesting such a fun topic. Keep them coming, guys, on the Discord. I do have some pretty interesting and weird topics in my head that I want to propose, but it's always helpful to have suggestions from other people because we want to do the things that you want to hear. So, all right.
Alrighty. So, our in-show weekly trivia question for this break that we want to answer after the break is in the series 12 Kingdoms, what is the name of the Shirie who serves Taiki, the kitten from the Kingdom of Tai?
Tough question.
Oh my god. 12 Kingdoms.
It's a friggin' amazing show.
I know.
All right. And we'll be back with a review of Megalo Box and the answer to that trivia question after the news break.
Bye-bye.
Hey all you anime addicts, Mitsuki's back. I know you missed me, but it's time for more of your anime news. Leading us off, it just never ends for poor Japan as another very strong typhoon is projected to smash into Honshu on Tuesday. It looks like a, quote, very strong typhoon called Typhoon Jebi, the 21st storm of the season, which has winds of up to 156 miles an hour or 252 kilometers per hour, is planning on hitting Honshu in both the east and the west. They've put out some pretty intense warnings, which include high wave warnings, flooding, and landslide warnings in the areas that were affected by flooding earlier this year, which pretty much seems like it's all of Japan at this point. We wonder when these natural disasters are going to quit slamming into Japan, as 2018 has certainly been one of the worst years on record for Japan in terms of its luck with the weather. Next up, some exciting news. New York Comic Con is going to be hosting Masako Nozawa and Dragon Ball Super Broly director Tatsuya Nagamine. So this is pretty relevant. This makes it pretty much the ultimate panel for Dragon Ball fans, as the voice actress of Goku, Goten, and Gohan, and others, Masako Nozawa, will be in attendance, and the director of the upcoming film Dragon Ball Super Broly is going to be also there at the panel. Also, Sean Schemmel, who is the English voice actor of Goku, is also going to be at the panel. So you're going to have both Gokus and the director of the new upcoming film all on the same panel, which is going to make that a pretty exciting event for fans of Dragon Ball. If you are in New York City or near it and you want to attend such a panel, you might want to get tickets to New York Comic Con so you can enjoy that. Next up, Final Fantasy XIV has passed 14 million registered accounts, which is a pretty huge milestone for an MMORPG. Those of you that were following Final Fantasy XIV will remember that the game was a complete failure when it released in September of 2010, and after criticism from fans, Square redid pretty much the whole game and re-released it in August of 2013, a few years later. So they are now enjoying the 5th anniversary of Final Fantasy XIV, A Realm Reborn, and it has reached 14 million registered accounts, which is a huge success for Square Enix and the Final Fantasy franchise, and honestly, it's a pretty damn good video game. So if you are a fan of that, you can probably feel happy that you're part of a success story. Next up, Japan's readers have picked the top 20 horror manga to keep you up at night. The top 5 on the list being Tomie from Junji Ito, who we have discussed at length, Zekkyo Gyakyu from Amy Ishikawa, Kyofu Shimbun from Jiro Tsunoda, Karada Sagashi by Wellsard, and Jigoku Sensei Nube by Sho Makura. So if you are a fan of horror manga, there are articles online that you can pick up from Nico Nico News that have the whole 20 manga ranking. So if you're a horror junkie, maybe you can pick up that list and work your way through that. This was Mitsuki, and this was your anime news break. Now, of course, back to the podcast. I am sick of this.
What's wrong, Mitz?
I'm really sick of all the censoring in anime. This is Monster Musume. Where's all the excessive fan service? And earlier it was Tokyo Ghoul. Where's all my violence?
Well, I don't know where you've been watching anime, but you could always try High Dive.
Oh, wait a minute. I've heard of High Dive.
Yeah, man. High Dive clearly agrees with you because they offer a ton of uncensored anime. So if you want to see snake monster girls in all their glory, go for it.
Yes.
Wow, you're really excited for naked snake girls, Mitz.
No. Well, I mean, yes, but High Dive has a 7-day free trial, and at only $4.99 per month, this is probably the most affordable streaming site I know of. It's a steal.
Well, you want some icing on that anime cake?
Layer it on me, baby.
If you use the promo code AAAPodcast at highdive.com, you'll get a discount off your first month of service, and High Dive will know you're a true anime addict.
Wow, thanks. So I'll get a 7-day free trial, and if I use the promo code AAAPodcast at highdive.com, I'll save on my first month as well. Well, now I'll definitely make my anime addiction worse.
Hey, Mitz, what's the website?
Oh, Enzo, you'll never believe this.
What? Oh, no.
JList.com is going to release a Church of Mitsuki PC game. Hello. It's called Moe Stomp Stomp Deluxe Edition.
Deluxe?
It's a turn-based RPG where you go on a quest to rid the world of Moe girls. I commissioned it from JList.
I didn't know JList.com sold anime PC games.
Oh yeah, Enzo. JList.com and Just USA are the same company. They sell hundreds of English language visual novels such as Fate Stay Night and Steins Gate, and they have adult games as well.
And Moe Stomping games.
Moe Stomping is not a game. It's life, Enzo. Life.
Right. Oh, I see. They have the new Mad Pompadour 12 Good Hair Days. Let's get that for Kazuo.
JList.com, your home for all your Moe Stomping and Pompadour game needs. Oh, and most other anime games as well.
You know me? Of course!
And welcome back to episode 437 of the Anime Addicts Anonymous podcast, and I am Jammin'.
Mr. Jammin'.
All right. Well, we had an intro trivia question. Who wants to take care of that for us?
Yeah, I'll bring it back again. So before the break, we asked you guys a question to ruminate about, and that question was, in the series, The 12 Kingdoms, what is the name of the Shirie who serves Taiki, the Kirin of the Kingdom of Tal? Do you know the answer, Mitz?
It's Sanshi, of course.
Ooh, Sanshi. I did not know that, actually.
Sanshi is what she's half human, half like tiger, half snake, and one other animal also. She's a what do you call that? A manticore, or she's a I don't know. She's a mixed match.
Isn't it called a new way? I could be wrong.
She's cool. I know that. I wish I had a Sanshi to follow me around all the time. So.
You know what I wish I had, Mitz?
What's that?
A 5-star review.
Really?
Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, we also received a 1-star review recently.
Oh, fantastic.
Do you want to know why?
Bounces it all out.
Do you want to know why we got that?
Because we didn't like a show that somebody else liked.
That's correct.
Wow.
But do you know what show?
Darling in the Franxx.
That's correct.
Let's
hey,
see
man.
more music.
I'll take all the love with all the hate. It's all good.
It's time for iTunes review.
All right. So, of course, if you would like to leave us a 5-star review, please head on over to iTunes. Help battle the irrational haters. Just like, let's see here, Tashino did.
This 1-star review is written by Anonymous. How dare you hate Darling in the Franxx? You just don't understand the themes and symbolism that are carried within.
Yeah, I'm sure we didn't. But on a positive note, Tashino reviews our podcast with 5 stars.
That's right.
It says here, I will be forever grateful to you guys and Mandy. I guess Mandy's not included in
Oh,
guys.
thank you.
Well,
I'm
she's
not one of the
technically-
guys. I'm a lady.
Yeah,
she's
but I feel like guys is a non-gender specific.
I'm a lady.
How dare you?
I'm
How
kidding.
dare you strip her of her ladiness? Can't you see the elegance? Such elegance, such grace. How
Well,
dare you?
that's
I wish I had a belch in me right now. I'd
yeah,
be-
I was like, I don't know about all that now. Do you know, Mandy? All right, so it says here your view of anime and Japan have opened my eyes so much. I have in fact nearly quadrupled my anime and manga intake.
You goddamn
Oh, wow.
right.
Not to mention over 250 plus hours of listening to this podcast.
Oh, I love you so much. Let's snuggle.
And so many films I have a new love for. Hearing you guys reminds me of my high school's cartooning club anime reviews and how we would agree to disagree on all sorts of matters. So 5 stars, keep the content coming. You have definitely made my anime addiction worse.
Toshino, I love you.
Another one
Thanks,
hits
man.
the hay, guys. Haha.
Wait, it's the hay.
I don't know.
We're putting him to
He
sleep.
went to sleep. He got so excited. Passed out.
He is forever in a trance of anime addiction, everyone.
Okay.
Guys,
Good save.
we forward another one.
Yeah.
We've got another one.
All right, Megalo Box.
Megalo Box. Okay. So Megalo Box is an anime that I passed, right?
Is it?
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it was my pick.
All right.
Pretty sure.
Oh yeah,
That's
well,
when
I remember because
you guys were like, "Oh, Enzo waits for the last chance to pick shows to steal from it."
Yep. No, that's exactly what it was. Thanks for
That's
reminding
not
us,
exact-
Enzo.
I wanted it to be number 1, and you put it number 2. That's your problem.
Okay.
Anyway, Megalo Box is, as you can probably tell by reading the title, it's an anime about boxing. And just for synopsis purposes, I will read what my anime list has.
How much of this are you reading?
You can read that whole
It's very
thing?
long.
Oh wow, it is much. Okay, when I looked it up on my phone earlier, it didn't look like it was that long. But so I'll just paraphrase from my best understanding. So Megalo Box is it's an anime about this character named Junk Dog, right?
Junk Dog.
Right? Yeah, Junk Dog. So he has no name, but he's Junk Dog in the streets, and he is at the beginning of the anime. He is someone who participates in fixed matches, so he will either win or lose based on what his boss tells him to do, like win or lose. He doesn't win or lose by merit. He wins or loses by what he's told to, and therefore the people at the top get the money that they want for these matches. However, Junk Dog has a passion in him that he wants to actually truly win. He's tired of doing fixed matches. And this leads him to want to enter Megalomania, which is the world's largest megalo boxing tournament in this current universe. And just to give some more background, Megalo Boxing is traditional boxing, except with these robotic enhancements that people put on. That's the current state of the technology, except for one person who has technology that's embedded into his body as the new level of Megalo Box.
Yeah, and his name is Yuri.
His name is Yuri.
The number 1 guy.
Right. So I was stoked to watch the show because of how much I love Hajime no Ippo and because of how I've tried in the past the boxing show Ashita no Joe, which is apparently in the same universe as this or something like that, or they're related through like staff, something like that.
The same
Forgive me if
writer,
I'm wrong.
the guy who wrote.
Same writer.
Can I just jump in real quick about that before I forget?
Go ahead.
I don't believe we should review Megalo Box while considering Ashita no Joe, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Because
While considering what?
While considering the original Ashita no Joe, and the reason why I say that is because virtually 10%. Was it less than 10%?
Yeah.
Less than 10% of the people, at least on my anime list, that have seen Megalo Box have not seen Ashita no Joe. So I think it's really unfair to assume to like make judgment calls about Megalo Box based on an anime that came out 50 years ago.
Okay.
Like you can't even get people to watch something that came out 10 years ago. So how can I expect anybody to watch an anime that came out well before they were born? I think that as such, Megalo Box needs to stand on its own 2 feet.
Sure.
And I personally will not be saying something like, oh, well, this happened in Megalo Box, but it's okay because Ashita no Joe did this. Like, I don't really care about Ashita no Joe, what it did, because it happened so long ago that virtually no one.
And 90% of the audience hasn't seen it.
99%, I would say.
Well, according to my anime,
all right, 90%.
Like over 90.
90% have not seen Ashita no Joe. So.
All right, I'm in agreement with you. Yeah, I'm in agreement with you. I didn't think we'd have to say that.
Well,
but
and I
guess
think
it is a good point to say it.
Any anime has to stand on its own 2 feet.
Unless
it's like a direct sequel, then it's like, okay, well.
Right.
This is like a 50th anniversary follow-up, sort of, to Ashita no Joe. So, or at least it's a project.
That's why I was like, it's like related, but like it's not at the same time. But yeah.
Okay,
but no, I wasn't going to compare the two, because you're right. This should be an objective review on the anime we're talking about.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that because
anyway.
I think that may come up.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. So that is the premise of the show. Basically, it is an underdog story. Junk Dog, who eventually to get into this tournament has to change his identity because I'm not sure what the like sociopolitics are of this world. They don't go really into that.
Apparently,
but
he's not a citizen.
He's not a citizen that qualifies to enter the tournament. So he has to go through some dealings to change his identity, and he picks up the name Joe, which I guess is the callback there. But he picks up the name Joe, and that's what it's no story. Joe has to climb his way to the top and win because he wants to win. However, things get a little complicated because in order to join this tournament, they got to make a deal. So that's where the anime starts off at, and with that premise alone, which I think happens within the first 3 episodes, is why I passed the show, because I do think that the first 3 episodes are pretty good. They're pretty good. They don't give you a crazy, amazing boxing, but I thought it was enough at the beginning. And I do like the way it was set up. I have a thing for underdog stories that involve dealings with bad people because it raises stakes to a good spot to jump off from. What do you guys think about the beginning of the show?
Yeah, I think the first fight scene in the show really reels you in because you see kind of like all they're capable of doing with the animation and with this combat. And I think for me personally, I believe the first fight scene in the show is probably the best fight scene of the entire show, which is in a way kind of problematic because you would hope that it would elevate over time, but I feel like they've really put their best foot forward and we're like, look at how awesome this can be. So I really enjoyed the first couple episodes. I felt like they were a bit shallow, like they didn't get too in depth as to the characters, like the character's backstory or motivations. Like it was very base level of here's a guy who wants to win and he's an underdog. Go. And so like I'm sorry, but like I'll just finish this real quick.
Go ahead.
But so but that's to be expected. It's just the first couple episodes. They're just introducing you to the world and the characters, and it was from there that I expected it to then go and further deepen our understanding and our connection with the world and with this character. So, sorry.
I thought the first 3 episodes of this were close to a masterpiece. After 3 episodes and the way that they set up the anticipation of the rematch between Yudi and Joe was done to such a fantastic level that like my blood boiled with the excitement of watching the rematch. Mm-hmm. They really did what a lot of shonen shows do, where someone gets their ass beaten and then there's the okay, well I'll see you in Koshien or I'll see you in the heavyweight championship or whatever. Yeah, you anticipate that for the whole show, and I thought this anime did that to a perfect level.
I was so happy. I was so excited to watch the end.
The cinematography with Yudi turns around and he's walking away from the ring because he's already won. He turns around and he walks back towards the ring, and Joe is like has pulled himself up from like unconsciousness and is leaning on the ropes and is like, I'm gonna take you down in Megalomania or whatever.
Megalonia.
And he's looking down at Yudi from the ring, and it's just like that moment is just it's an anticipatory promise of something to come, and like that setup was epic. And so there's no way you could have not passed this show after 3 episodes. I was like this shit looks like Cowboy Bebop. It's all grainy.
Totally, dude.
Friggin' Joe might as well be a clone of Spike. He even has the same hair. Mm-hmm. And I was like, this show, I was thinking to myself, I haven't seen a show this good since Bebop after 3 episodes. I was so sucked into it. Mm-hmm. So yeah, the beginning of the show was amazing.
Man, what you got?
Yeah, I loved the first 3 episodes. I was super into it. It's one that I watched all the way through week by week. And the first thing that drew me in was the art style. I loved the very gritty sort of 90s style where they purposely downscaled the image to look like it was cel shaded. Right. That was very striking for me, and I felt like it lent very well to the overall world that they were in. It's very atmospheric is what word I'm trying to look for. And I really enjoyed it. I thought the was really good. There were some very nice, interesting angles and shots with the first match and later on. And yeah, I was really interested in Joe. We're just talking about first 3 episodes, right?
Yeah,
just the beginning.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I'll segue to the later part after.
Oh, it's cool. And then, yeah, and I love the music. I thought the music was great. They chose some fantastic voice actors for it too. So yeah, I was very intrigued.
So I watched.
Yeah, so go ahead.
I watched this 3. Are we transitioning out of the beginning of the show?
Oh, I was gonna, but you have anything more to say? That's totally fine.
I don't. Go ahead and I was just gonna explain how the show story progresses.
I don't. Yeah, so I it's cool that we're all in agreement about the beginning. I wasn't sure because I know Mitz has been vocal about liking the show at the beginning. I wasn't sure where like Mandy and Cosmo stood, but it's cool that we're like on the same page, and I wonder if you will be on the same page with me with how I feel about the rest of the show. And I don't know if we want to necessarily give the spoiler warning now, but I think we kind of have to because it involves wins and losses here. So should we call it spoilers now?
I can call spoilers. I don't think that this show has such an in-depth story that it really is going to need to have a lot of spoilers.
Yes.
Personally,
I don't think so either, but people are sensitive about
the
spoilers.
story is pretty thin.
It's exactly
honestly.
what you expect to happen, pretty much, as far as who's going to win and who's going to lose.
Yeah,
So.
and so I guess okay, yeah, and that's exactly how I feel too. So going off what Cosmo just said, that is kind of my biggest gripe with this show is that amazing premise setup where I'm just like, yo, we have characters I already want to know more about. I have a quote unquote villain, not a villain, but like the rival to work towards premise. I have training scenes. I have dealings with the underground of the society going on in the background. I'm excited. And then what starts to happen with the show is that the stakes for me start falling. And here's why. And it's because every fight is the same. Every single fight is the same. Every single fight, coach is like, Joe, you're the best. You're going to win this. And Joe's like, yeah, I'm the best. He goes into the ring, gets obliterated. Like, just beat the shit out of every fight. And he gets knocked down like 4 times. And then, like, he gets up every time. And then he knocks out the enemy 1 time. And he wins.
Yeah. Dude,
That's every single fight. That's every fight in the show.
In what boxing world is that happening every time? And then, but by the fight before the last fight, I'm like, I don't care because he's gonna get knocked down and he's gonna get up.
Well,
and then he did.
And you're right about that. And the fights are incredibly predictable because it's very much, Joe takes 1,000 hits, gets knocked down 10 times, and then he gets up, hits the guy once, and he wins. But there's also a very intense level of inconsistency with how much punishment Joe can take. In the beginning of the anime, he'll get hit by a guy who's not even like a highly ranked fighter, by the way, just some dude in the underground. Punch him once with the Megalo gear or whatever the hell you call it. And Joe's like mouthpiece flies out, teeth are flying. He's so KO'd, he's might as well be dead, right? And then at the end of the show, he's taken 10, 20, 50 blows to the head from this gear, and he just takes it. And I'm like, well, you can't KO a guy in the beginning of the show in 1 hit, and then by the end of the show, he's superhuman. You know what I mean? There's a tremendous inconsistency there. I didn't really appreciate that.
You would almost think that it was like they were thinking, okay, how much time do we have to fill for this fight? All right, we have 10 minutes on this one. All right, so then we'll just keep it rolling for 10 minutes. Like, he gets knocked down, he gets up, he gets knocked down, he gets up, however many times you need to fill out the time, and then in the last 30 seconds, we'll have him knock the other guy out. That's what it almost felt like.
I actually thought as a boxing show, as a sports anime, I thought Megalo Box was pretty poor. I went back and
I think I'm the one who's different from everybody else because I actually really enjoyed this show. Yeah. But I was not watching it as like a hyper, very fast-paced sports show. I was watching it more as a character drama. And I'm like, I don't watch boxing, so maybe that's why I enjoyed this a lot more. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I got something completely different out of it, so I didn't mind that the fight scenes weren't.
I'm interested in this. I'm interested in this because then I want to know where you got your payoff for character.
Yeah, because I would argue the characters were incredibly shallow and very one-dimensional.
I don't know.
You disagree?
Sorry, I'm readjusting. But I thought the characters between the main characters were really well done. The side characters, not so much. I liked that Joe was just a, the typical. I'm trying to think. The underdog is what I'm trying to get to, but I don't know. I felt like.
How would you describe the characters, though? Like, I guess is one way to ask it. Like, because you're saying that the characters you felt were really well put together, and you appreciated the character development and everything. So, how would you like describe them and how they developed?
I think I like the with Nanba. I was trying to think of his name. The coach.
The coach, yeah.
Yeah.
I like
Nanba. I was very interested in between like Fujimaki. I was more interested in how he was going to get out of that situation with Fujimaka, far more than whether or not Joe was going to lose matches.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think his character had an arc. I don't think Joe's had an arc.
Definitely.
I think Joe's character.
And I also liked Aragaki, the ex-soldier who lost his legs.
Yeah.
I thought that added a little bit more to Nambu's character, as like we got a good amount of backstory with Aragaki was his previous student, and he lost his legs, and I guess Nambu moved on to Joe, and then he's like, no, I want to come, that I can still do this despite my disabilities,
not having legs.
So so I really like that. I liked what was his Sachio and his desire to bring down or stick it to the wealthy. And I think the thing that I loved most about the show, though, is it reminded me a lot of debates I used to have with some friends with the in the future, when technology gets to a point where it completely changes our hobbies and our sports, where do the people who stick to the old ways, like, where do they go? Like, where is there a place for them in the future? Because like, if you get to a point where technology is at the point where you could put in an algorithm and a painting, or a computer could just generate a beautiful painting, or it can compose a masterpiece. What about the people who still paint, like with traditional media, or they still play the violin? Are they going to have any place in this future? And are they even going to be able to compete if no one's like, the days have changed. No matter what you do, you can't be as good as this computer. So I felt like, I don't know, it reminded me a lot of those old discussions. And I liked seeing Joe repeatedly go, no, I'm the real deal. I have real skill, and I want to get out there and fight. And yeah, he got his ass kicked, because you can't. I mean, I also felt like they didn't really utilize the. I didn't feel like they didn't utilize the gear as well as they should have. But yeah, he got his ass kicked a lot, and he still won, because you know what, your hobby, if you stick and practice enough, you can still compete with the future. I don't know. That's what I got out of it.
That's where I have a problem with this, because that's absolutely false. Like, if someone's using like robotically enhanced punches on your human dome, like, you can't compete with that if you're just throwing regular punches with no robotic assistance. And like, to say he got his ass beat, he did, but he won every single fight, which makes zero sense.
Except the beginning.
Well, yeah,
I mean,
but
like every single
also
fight after he went with no arm, no what do you call it?
We haven't really transitioned into that part of the plot line yet. Well,
I was going to say that, yeah, he did win, but these people weren't really much boxers. They're relying on AI to tell them where and how to punch, and just like, no, I can overcome that. So, I don't know.
I like Joe as a character. I really don't have much problem with the characters in this anime. Like, I thought they were fine. I mean, I enjoyed them.
Yeah, me neither.
I really liked the Team Nowhere, or whatever the hell it was called.
I felt like Joe was the worst character by far, because he had no
way.
He had
what?
no personality. He had no.
I liked Joe. I liked the coach, and I liked the little kid.
The
too.
entire time, I want to root for him, and I want to know more about him, but they don't tell you anything about him. He's just some guy who they keep repeating is the underdog, and it's like, yeah, I get that, but like, what are his motivations? What's his backstory? Why should I? Where's his development as a character? He doesn't develop. So he's the same guy in episode 1 as he is in the last episode.
There's a point in the beginning of the show where Joe and what's his name, Nanba, his coach, they have to go off and they have to start training to enter this tournament called Megalonia, because they
Megalonia.
because
I said Megalomania in the beginning.
Yeah, you did.
they burned like a mob boss who was using them to make money off gambling, and the mob boss was like, well, I could kill you right now, or you can go win the Megalo Box tournament, and presumably, I'm assuming, make money for the guy. And so they're trying to rise through the ranks of this like tournament ranking so they can fight. Nanba wants to do it because he's going to get killed by this mob boss. Joe wants to do it because he wants to fight Yuri again. And so that's how the story ends up into this chain of fight scenes. But to me, the problem with the show isn't really the characters for me personally. It's the fact that so much of the anime, I don't have an actual exact percentage. I'm just going to guess 35 to 40% of the show is boxing in the ring. And when that much of the show is boxing, when that much of the show is being focused on one activity, you better do the activity well in a compelling way. And I didn't find the show's action compelling at any point past the first 3 episodes. Especially, I found it uncompelling at the end of the show. But there, and I think personally, I think it's because the show didn't have enough time. Like, it's too short. It needed more runtime.
They definitely rushed a lot of things. They skipped a bunch of stuff.
They rushed a lot of stuff, and they wasted episodes on things that honestly don't change the story if you take them out. Like, I've heard a number of people say, I love the Aragaki section of the show. I get that it contributes some character art story, but that section takes up 2 whole episodes. If you lift it out of the show and remove it, does the show change?
No.
I don't think it does. And I think that if you take that 45 minutes and apply it towards the end of the show, or even spread it out in the middle, you end up with a lot less anger. You end up with, like, the people in the chat are saying this show is like watching Rocky without the final fight, because they didn't have any time to do it. Like, take that 2 episodes out and put it at the end, and then everybody gets what they wanted.
Well, to speak on the not having time to do things, like, there was more than one episode where I started the next one, and then they were in a place where I was like, wait, hold on, did I miss an episode or something? Because they just like skip ahead because they have to get, I guess, because I don't know, maybe time constraints or what have you, but like, it definitely felt rushed at points to where they weren't able to like stretch it out and tell the story that they wanted to tell. Like, what I really wanted in this was just more character development. I wanted more story. I wanted to know more about the characters and give me a reason to care about them, specifically Joe. And I feel like it didn't do that as well as it could have.
Well, and
so I want to argue the time point, because
go ahead.
I don't think it's an excuse, because you have movies like Rocky.
Now, however, Rocky did end. Was it Rocky 1 or 2? Ended exactly how this show ended.
What I'm saying is that Rocky did it in 2 hours. Okay,
True.
so you have 13 episodes.
Yeah, that's 4 hours.
It's not time. It's not time. It's bad writing, and the loss of and it's bad writing, and it's losing. It's not executing your premise and your overall idea, which I do agree with Mandy, is the gearless versus the gear and human versus technology. I think that's an overarching theme of the show.
Sure.
They don't execute, and they lose sight of how heavy their stakes are. Because here's the thing, and I love that Mitsuki said that the show is 40% boxing, because it is. And I love that he said that if you're going to do 40% of boxing, it has to be good. And I completely agree, because it's not. And it's not like each individual fight had it been the first fight of the show, maybe it's interesting, but them being one after another and this playing out the same way, I don't care about these fights more and more and more and more, because Joe's just going to win every time, right?
In the same way.
That's right, exactly, in the same way. So that's -1 to stakes. -2 to stakes is that I feel like they got off easy when they go against the deal they made with the mafia. I think an eyeball ain't shit to pay.
I don't know. I think that's pretty shit.
It apparently wasn't
blind.
I don't think so,
apparently it wasn't shit, because he was seeing just fine after the fact. Like, he was dancing around and walking up to people and saying hi. I'm like, how do you know they're there?
Right, exactly. So what I'm trying to get to is that before the last fight, we're building up this whole like anxiety. Like, we're supposed to be building this whole anxiety about them. Like, oh my god, like Joe's gonna betray his coach who betrayed him with this deal that they made, because he wants to win. And I'm supposed to feel like, oh my god, like they're gonna die. Like, he loves boxing so much, like he's gonna die to do this, right? Because the bad guy says, not only are you going to pay, coach, but so are those two, and he's referring to the kid and Joe. The kid and Joe don't pay shit. The coach loses an eye. And then after that, there's still the main rival left. But at that point, like, where are the stakes at? I just have to care that Joe wants to win, which I do. But unfortunately, like I said before, I don't care about the fights because you know what? Joe's gonna win, and you know what? He wins. So where's the where's the stake payoff?
I also have problems with the end with Yuri.
Yeah. So what I like where I blame the writing is that yes, I think the coach is the best character of the show because he has the most up, down, emotional turmoil. He's a flawed guy, and he's consistently flawed the whole time. And because he loves watching Joe succeed, but he's also a fucking coward, and it shows. He's a coward the whole damn show, and it shows really well. He's a slippery snake, and he stings Joe like the scorpion metaphor they use like 4 times in the show.
Bites him like the snake that he is.
Right, and I love that. The coach is a great character.
He is.
But I like honestly, like, the coach should have just died. Mm-hmm. I think they should have killed the coach as the major, like, the coach should have gone out saying like in when Joe's fighting the blonde dude Burrow, in that earpiece, the coach should have been like, Joe, don't mind me, I believe in you. You need to win this for your own self and prove that you're someone that has potential. I love you. I care about you. Don't care. Like, I got you. Succeeding your dream. And he should die in that moment.
Enzo's passionate about this.
That would have added a lot of weight to the story.
And then the last fight where he's fighting Yuri, I want that to be emotional, not because he's like, I want to win, but he's like, I want to win and I want to give my coach's soul like peace because I won through his training.
You just rewrote the end of this show in a better way.
Yeah, because it's not that fucking hard. It's really not that fucking hard.
It really isn't.
But like, they decided to be soft. The mafia dude, who's painted to be like the worst guy in the underground, thinks it's funny that the coach was like, "Here, take my elbow." He's like, "Oh, he's funny, so I'm good." What the fuck?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
The end of the show, I thought the writing was bad, very bad. To your point, it was like episode 10 or 11. I think it was episode 11 because this show's 13 episodes long. And I was thinking to myself, they're not even going to have a final fight because
there's no time.
They weren't even close to starting the fight yet, and they only had 2 episodes. And I was like, so basically, we're either going to not get a fight at all, and I knew this by episode 8. I knew this was going to happen, or it's going to be really short. And what happened in episode 11, and this is definitely spoilers. We've been in there for a while.
Yeah,
we already spoiled the anime. That passed already.
I mean, is that Yuri removes his gear.
I didn't like that. I hated that.
It's stupid.
I actually love that because he realized I'm not the real deal and I want to be the real deal. I want to fight on his level.
I understand.
So I like that.
Yeah. Although it kind of defeats the whole point of the theme of the show if it's supposed to be like man overcoming technology.
He realized it. He realized, wow, I am relying on this gear, this technology.
Right. But what you were saying before.
Wait, let her finish. Let her finish.
Thank you. So, yeah, I mean, he realized the whole point was like, I am not the real deal. And that's why he kept saying, no, I want to be the real deal. Or, Joe is the real deal. So let me take off my, I want to come back down to his level. This technology, our sport has progressed to the point where we don't have to be boxers. We just have to put on this gear and it does it for us. We're not athletes. So he wants to take off his gear and come back down to what the sport actually is.
I agree with all that, and I think that feeds into the theme of, human versus machine or whatever you want to call it. But in that episode 11, they needed to get their ass to the end of the show. Mm-hmm. And what they did was they wasted another episode on that. And then miraculously it went from, he's going to be in the most pain a human being can possibly feel. He'll be down and out forever, to boom, he's back in the ring immediately. And it's like, not only did they not take a step forward towards the conclusion, but they took a step backwards in that episode. And I was like, how in the world are we ever going to finish? Now Yudi's like writhing in pain on the floor of a cabin or something, and we have approximately 30 minutes left in this anime. Mm-hmm. So I think that the theme is really, I think it's a really powerful theme, and I really love that it's in there. Mm-hmm. But to Enzo's point, I just think the writing was terrible. Like it was like they wrote the show at a pace of a 26 episode series about until episode 8. Then they were like, "Oh shit. Like we got a lot more to do. We got 15 episodes of content. We got to do it in 5 episodes. How are we going to possibly do this?" And so they start time jumping. And Yuri, you don't even see him recover. It goes from he's half dead in a cabin to boom, I'm ready to fight.
Yeah.
And it's like, why and how does that happen?
So here's my problem there with the whole like Yuri's arc and Joe's arc is that the entire point, and Mandy, I believe you expressed this earlier on, for Joe, for like the point of Joe's character is to express how humans with their natural talent and hard work can overcome a cybernetically enhanced athlete.
He's Rock Lee.
And so his whole point, the whole point in his arc is to be like, I can climb the mountain. I can get to the very top. I can beat the best man in the world, even though he's using these genetic enhancements and I'm just using, my natural ability. But then the guy who is supposed to represent all of this enhancement and modernization removes that. So then it's just Joe fighting a normal dude. And I get that it develops Yuri's character, which is cool, but it kind of ruins the whole point for Joe. Like he's no longer fighting against technological advancement. He's just fighting another guy. And it's like,
well, I
that's
think
not
the end of Joe's I want to prove myself was his fight with Mikiko, or
lion dude?
guy who was using AI.
Yeah.
And I think watching him be defeated is what changed everybody else. And then Yuri was like, wow, it inspired him and moved his character. But I still think Joe got the end of his character, well, not, but proved himself when he was able to defeat Mikiko's AI.
I don't think either of you is wrong, actually, because
No, I don't think so either.
Yeah, because I agree, because what Mandy's saying is a way to execute the premise and what the show did, and I'm on the same page as Kazuo, kind of I didn't like it. I thought there was a better way to execute the premise, because I thought with the way Joe's character has been the whole show, I didn't think he would like the fact that Yuri took off his gear. I thought he was gonna be mad about it. I thought he was gonna be like, no, you can't say when you're when the girl told him, I forgot the girl's name, Shirato, the Chiato girl.
Shirato?
Right? Yeah,
Yukiko?
Shirato, yeah.
Mikio.
Mikio?
Yukiko.
There it is. Yeah, there it is. Mikio's the brother.
Mikio's the brother.
Yeah. So I when she told him that, and the camera cut to Joe clenching his fist for a slight second, and then I was like, oh yeah, I agree, I'd be tight too, because I wanted to prove a point, at the top, at the ring that matters most. I wanted to prove it there in that fight. But then it cuts to him smiling, he's like, yo, I'm so down, which I also understand, but I guess it just wasn't what I wanted. But after hearing your opinion, man, I didn't think about the fact that Yuri was inspired. I guess he was. I guess that makes a lot. It does make a lot of sense. I just didn't like it. I would have rather have had Joe topple the machine from the top and not take the last fight as a human to human fight.
Yeah. It's a little upsetting that the final fight in the season is probably the most disappointing one in the whole season. There's so many other fights that are oh, that fight was cool and that fight was all right and that one was pretty good, but then the last one's just oh.
I felt totally betrayed by the anime, actually. I watched.
It's just because we didn't get to see a KO.
I watched the final fight. Well,
yeah, that was disappointing.
Well, that, and also I felt that the final fight lacked passion.
Dude, and they skipped through it so quickly. It was when you first see it start, it's all right, it's round 4, and then it's all right, now it's round 13. It's
because they didn't have any time.
Where's the whole fight?
I wanted, in this anime, I wanted there to be passion at the end of it, and I went back and I watched the end of Hajime no Ippo, and it's just not close. I mean, Hajime no Ippo, they're playing Eternal Loop. Yeah. They've got the I can actually play that on here now, but they've got Eternal Loop playing. You got the crowd is stomping their feet all around the arena. People are screaming and cheering. There's so much passion. People are putting their lives, their livelihood, everything they believe in on the line in the ring, and they give you a really, really compelling, like 4-episode fight in Hajime no Ippo that is just unbelievable. Like it's as good as anything I've seen in any sports anime. And then in Megalo Box, it's like they don't even care. Like there's no passion in it. My heart wasn't pumping at all. And the only reason why I feel this way is because they promised it at the beginning of the show. They promised an epic rematch between Yuri and Joe. I'm telling my coworkers, this show's friggin' amazing. You got to watch this. And then the show totally just pulls the rug out from under everybody. And I am not the only person that I've heard that's this is a comment that almost everybody has made. The show just completely betrays the viewer and doesn't give what it promises. An 8-minute fight where honestly they're cutting back and forth between the girls' corporation BS, which honestly I don't think anybody cares about, takes you away from the action. And jumping from fight 4 to episode 13 and then not even concluding the fight is just crap.
Yeah, they had her in like board meetings with
Who
like the
cares?
military. Who cares? This has nothing.
Who gives a shit? I mean, that's like an afterthought anyway. Probably more bad writing. Like if you're gonna put a plot point in there like that, then you need to at least finish it. But I don't even know what the hell all that was about. And
it
was just upsetting. Like I felt like they promised it and they didn't give it to me. And I was mad. I'm mad about it.
I saw the whole board meetings as sort of like a this is where we want to put this in the military,
right?
And this is an example of what it can do. And then so after he took it off, that looked really bad on her because he took off the gear. And I think Yuri is trying to change the future. He's like, no, we don't need this. We don't need this technology. And that's how I took it.
Yeah, no,
I mean, that's
how I took it too. But what's the but why? Like we have 13 episodes to get the premise we signed up for across.
Yeah,
the character premise across. I get this is something to like give more closure to the overarching theme of the show, but character premise wise, like I just didn't care. I needed this fight to play out, and then it doesn't even play out anyway.
Yeah, there's no time to tell like a broad, like worldwide story of like militarism and the use of weaponry. Like there's no time for that. We have to tell the story of Joe, and we've got 13 episodes.
Well, yeah, they wasted 50 minutes on Aragaki.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, I totally because Mandy, I got the same thing. Like I got why they put that scene in there, because it's like it's like another example of like humanity reaching for technologies as the future and then losing our humanity in that action itself. And I get that, but like there's
no time for that.
There's just no time. It was just no time. It was just no time. It was just no time for that. And going back to like the coach dynamic with Joe, like because the coach, yes, he lost an eye, but he's alive. And the mafia is not on him really anymore. Although the guy's like, you guys will always be involved with us. But like in the show, there's no direct danger to them anymore after he loses his eye. So there's no emotional stakes for Joe anymore aside from wanting to win. And because that's the only motivator he has, and by the way the rest of the show plays out, it takes you back to like, oh, the only thing I care about here is having this main character win. Well, guess what? I'm not in for a surprise because the 6 fights beforehand, he won. And then he wins this one too. So where are the final stakes I'm hanging on to, and where's the payoff? They don't exist. So that's why I'm extremely dissatisfied. Aside from the fact that objectively, we don't even get to see the end of the fight or the fight itself, because as you guys said, it cuts from like round 4 to like round 14. Dude. And we get to see it's just like, it's crazy. Because imagine this, like imagine what I said before. Mm-hmm. Imagine the coach dies, right? Imagine the coach dies,
Imagine
and then
dies.
Well, I think that's something a lot of people are theorizing.
That'd be some real weight.
That'd be wild, yeah. But like, imagine the coach died, and then like during this last fight, as Joe is landing the final combo, we flash back to him practicing this combo with the coach, and then like when he lands it and he knocks out Yuri, he hears the coach say, "Good job, kid. You did me proud."
Or how about Or how about while Joe's laying face down on the mat, bleeding all over his face, it's the memory of his coach, knowing that he has to live and fight and win this fight to do honor to his coach who gave up his life. That is the motivation he uses to peel himself up off the mat, and then you get all the flashback stuff with the final combo.
Or imagine if you want the show to continue, all that happens, like he gets knocked down and he has the flashback and he has the emotional moment, and he still loses. And then you get another season
Well, this show, do we all agree this should have been 26 episodes?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
I definitely agree with all of you that the ending was all that satisfying.
It ended like just everybody lives happily ever after. Haha, the end.
Yeah, that was my main issue with this, is that the ending, because the whole thing built up this world as being very gritty. It's very
underworld driven.
Underworldish, yeah, but you have mobsters who are after them, and there's stakes, people can die, and then the ending felt a little bit too happy. Not that I really wanted everybody to die or anything, but it did feel almost like it was from a different anime. And just kind of spliced in.
Yeah, they're all like.
But
dancing.
I definitely think that this would have been a lot better with more episodes.
It needed more. Like it was a victim of not having any time. I wonder why they chose. Knowing that it was going to be this short, I can't understand why the show moved at the clip that it did. Like it was almost like they forgot. We forgot it was 20. It's like wait, what?
Wait,
what,
13
what,
episodes?
13? What? I thought it was 50.
Yeah.
And usually, like, oh shit.
Usually I hate like exaggerate, like giving that kind of sarcasm when doing a review, but I totally agree.
But that's what I think. That's how
like,
I feel.
I totally agree. Like that's what it feels. They're just like, okay. We got to the mafia thing. Oh crap, we got 2 episodes left for the last fight. Oh shit. Oh,
they didn't even have that. They had like 18 minutes. Literally.
I don't know. Like it's and like I tend to harp on like the whole stakes thing. Like I really look at things from a writing perspective, because on paper we're supposed to care, and I just don't. And like when I think about why, it's because like XYZ doesn't end up, and then like, ABC was never there to begin with. So I just can't bring myself to be like, hey guys, this is the new Hajime no Ippo, watch this.
Oh, it's not even
I don't
close.
know. Like I don't know if I can say that. I can never. I don't think I'm even close to saying that.
It is not even.
Yeah.
I mean,
and
like,
and to like make the comparison to Ippo, like Ippo works, even though like I also think that Ippo sometimes drags out fights. Like Ippo and this are the opposite, because the fights are too short and predictable, and then the Ippo they sometimes drag on, and sometimes they're not the outcome you expect. But the reason it's fine with Ippo is because you really care. Like you really care that Ippo wins or loses. You even care if his friends win or lose. Because you know what, those character dynamics, masterful, and you know why? Because they had time to breathe, because they have more than 13 episodes. So
when you got
that's kind of where I'm at with how I feel about Megalo Box. Too short for a premise that was set up extremely well, and therefore when you aim high and then you shoot not even close, the fall hurts, and that's kind of where I'm at, unfortunately.
I'm gonna go ahead and score it, because I think we've been going along for a while. I don't want to forget about the art in the show. I thought that the grainy, sort of old-fashioned looking art style was kind of reminiscent of early 2000s, late 90s. I really thought they were aiming for bebop, to be honest with this. And I really liked the aesthetic of it. And everything had kind of like a grunge feel to it. And I think it really fit the setting of the anime. And honestly, I thought the animation was fine. I thought it was good. But, aesthetics are great, but like, I mean, as a person who honestly prefers animation from the 80s and 90s over current stuff anyway, it doesn't mean that much to me. And I'm really upset that like anytime I'm so excited about a show that I put my reputation on the line with my friends by recommending a show to them, and then the show just shits its pants and doesn't give me what I recommended it to people for, it makes me upset. That said, I didn't think the show was like terrible. I mean, the beginning was incredible. So I'm gonna give it. I'm really interested to see what you guys are gonna give it, but I'm gonna give it. 3 times I pulled myself up off the mat out of 5 and miraculously won.
So I guess I'll go next. Speaking of the animation, or the art style, I should say, I really love the art style. I love that like kind of hand-drawn art style where you can see kind of the imperfections and everything. Like I really enjoy that. So I like what they did there. I also think that might even have something to do with the theme of the show. Like if you think about it, they're showing that humans can still hang on the level of like advanced technology. And likewise with the art, you have hand-drawn art and kind of in a way to say, hey, hand-drawn animation can be just as good, if not better, than computer animation. So that's kind of cool. I appreciate that. I like what they were thinking there, if that's what they were thinking. Yeah, I mean, the show, we've kind of said it already, but it ramped up really quickly from the beginning. I was super into it. my biggest faults with it were just simply the lack of character development, and it could be just simply because they had 13 episodes, but I feel like some characters were developed well enough. You know, that side character who had his legs blown off had a ton of character development. He had a full arc, which was really good. But Joe, to me personally, was the same exact person in episode 1 that he was in episode 13, which in my book is a major flaw. Like the most important part of any show or any book or any story is characters. You have to fall in love with the characters, and the characters have to have an arc. They have to develop. They have to achieve something, not just external, but internal. And I feel like he didn't really get anywhere or anywhere significant. And that really hurt the show. The music is another thing I want to touch on. The music was incredible. I love the music in the show. But overall, it didn't do much for me. It felt, by the end of it all, of course I was disappointed with the ending, but as I reflected back on it, I felt like the show was it was okay. I couldn't really recommend it to anyone.
Yeah, because I mean, if somebody wants to watch boxing, there's better shows.
Yeah, sure. So this is a tough one, but I'm gonna have to give it 2.5 out of 5.
Rough.
I wanted to give
Savagery.
it. I want to give it a 3, but I can't. Not in good.
What did you give Darling in the Franxx?
I think I gave that a 3.
Jesus Christ, Kazuo.
Hey,
damn, dude.
I'm
just
defend
listen,
that 3.
not to call you out, but like, what the hell,
Hey,
dude?
go back and listen to the review of Darling in the Franxx. I explained in great detail.
Hey, baby. Listen, you got your opinion. You got your opinion, my guy.
All right.
I can go next if you want to go last, Mandy. I don't care.
That's fine.
I am on the same boat with Mitsuki and Kazuo for a lot of the reasons that the show disappointed me. Because it is truly crap when you really like a show at the beginning and it kind of just like mellows out in a bad way. Which is like the most recent example is SAO, right? SAO first 2 episodes, probably one of the better arcs ever, to then crap itself, right? So again, art style, admirable, very admirable to bring that back. In this day and age of anime, where colors are very defined and palettes are like pretty bright, even in darker anime. I like it. I love the urban feel. I love the music. I actually think episode 12, although, you know, kind of halting the pace of the show in sometimes awkward ways, I think episode 12, had everything prior to episode 12 been really good, I think episode 12 was a good pre-final fight episode because of the music and that rap that's very specific, specifically about Yuri and Joe. That's all that's really there, because I could not convince myself that the writing was remotely good aside from the first 3 episodes. So like Kazuo said, to me the show is pretty average too. Just average. It's just like that was fine. That's how I walked away from it. I wasn't satisfied, and I can't give the show a 4. I really wanted to give the show a 4.5 when I first started. I was hoping this would be a 4 and above anime, but I'm going to give it 3.5 times that Joe's face hit the mat out of 5, because it's just a bummer, man. It's just a bummer.
So, yeah, I mean, overall, from the beginning to the end, I agree with the ending being kind of lackluster, but also this was made as like a 50-year anniversary to Ashita no Joe, so I've never seen the original Joe, and I know we're not supposed to mention that, but it might have because it was done as like a celebration, maybe the fans of that would know a little bit more about the ending than I would. Overall, up until the ending, though, I really enjoyed it. I liked the characters. I thought it looked fantastic. I really liked the music a lot. I really liked the themes. I felt like it had a lot of really good direction moments. There were some moments with the animation was a little bit off. It had a lot of like moments. But I lost my train of thought. Yeah, I felt like it did a really good job with the showing and not telling of with parts of like the themes of the story. Yeah, I mean, I was never bored throughout the whole thing. I loved it. So I'm giving it a 4.
You also got your opinion too.
And y'all can suck it.
So we gave it a 4, a 3.5, a 3, and a 2.25.
I did all the math.
Wait, so it's a 3.
Where do we average out? A 3?
Yep.
Okay.
Well,
okay
it rounds up, right?
I have no idea.
So I guess it's a 3.5 then, because it rounds up. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so moving on to mailbags.
Dude, I'm gonna get so much shit.
Moving on.
For giving this a 2.5 and Darling in the Franks a 3. But hey, man, I 100% stand by it. If you don't agree, go back and listen to the.
I thought both anime had bad writing.
Yeah, go back and listen to my.
No, I definitely recall Kazuo like arguing very good playing the. So, I just was shook.
Here come your mailbags. We gotta be quick.
It's time for an almighty anime mailbag. Anime.
Mailbag.
Oh yeah.
If you want to submit a mailbag on our website, there's a button at the top that says mailbag, and you click it. So head over to AAAPodcast.com. You can submit a mailbag or a topic request. This first mailbag is from Icy Rose. Who wants to read it?
I got this one because it's my boy Icy Rose.
Okay.
He says, "Hello, AAA hosts. Everyone knows the 3-episode rule. Even anime studios know about it, which is why their first 3 episodes are typically of better quality in animation to the ones in the middle. However, some anime YouTubers have brought up the idea of a 1-episode rule instead. DJ Bro did an entire video on how you can easily determine if an anime will be good or bad based solely on the first episode. Looking back on your anime impressions, do you think there is some logic behind the 1-episode rule? At what point of an anime do you typically judge whether it passes or fails?" So I actually have seen the video with Digibro is like, "Oh, I'm Digibro and this is how I think about anime. Here's how you can describe an anime in 1 episode." Honestly, this is one of those situations that I think like there are no rules to how you can feel about anything, which is like the prime basis of art. If he thinks or if people think you can determine an entire anime based on 1 episode, sure, dude. All you, man. I think it's unfair. I think it's a little bit unfair because, for example, I didn't like Haikyuu. I didn't like Haikyuu until like episode 4, and I love that anime. Like if you're someone that superficially is gonna judge an anime on art and the delivery of like the first few conversations between characters, like I totally see how you can be like, okay, I'm signing off here. To me, it's a little too hasty. I'm not someone who thinks like I don't think I'm godlike enough to judge an entire anime based on 25 minutes of
it's
art.
kind of ridiculous.
It's kind of ridiculous.
I wouldn't read 9 pages out of a 500-page book and go, "This is shit." So
yeah, it's like I don't like. Listen, I'm not in the camp to like call other people's opinions like complete hearsay. Like I can disagree, but this one's a little like this is me and I'm kind of full of myself. Here's my amazing knowledge on how to watch anime.
I think it's pretentious and borderline preposterous.
Yeah. I think that you can, for some shows, you can get an idea of how it's going to be by the first episode. Like if you watch a show that is like, was it Yuri or something in the Haunted Hot Springs? It's like, okay. Yuna in the Haunted, it's like, all right, I get where this show's going. This one's not going to surprise me. But you might be surprised. Some shows have started off in one way and then completely done a 180 and changed throughout the series. So
I mean, there are shows like, for example, Fantastic Children, where the anime turns on its head around a halfway point and becomes a totally different show. GTO doesn't start the way that it ends up being. Even Major Second, which Kazuo didn't like because the beginning of it has the main character's whiny, right, or bitchy or whatever it was. Mm-hmm. That show is, by episode like 5, he's not really like that anymore. So like that show came around a lot. Like you can't judge anything based off of 5% of its content.
Yeah, that's absurd.
And to think you can do it means you think you're like a fortune teller, which is stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like look at Megalo Box today. Like if you if you wanted to like give an entire impression like on how you think it's gonna play out in 1 episode, like you can, but then like, you're not gonna be right every time. Yeah. However, again, like I just like disclaimer, like your approach to reviewing or giving impressions also depends on what rubric of like what standard rubric you're grading on. So like if art and like if you get enough from episode 1 to like go and check off your rubric checks, that's all you, man. My rubric involves needing like at least an hour and a half with people to see what I feel.
Yeah, I mean,
so that's me.
If Digibro wants to give Megalobox a 5 because he only watched 20 minutes of it, go for it. But that ain't what the show is.
Yeah.
So, next
right.
mailbag.
Next one comes from Super Shadow Chaos 7.
Wow. That's epic.
Very intense name.
Very.
It says, "Hey, AAA podcast crew, I am currently planning a trip to Japan in January 2019.
Yay!
I'm planning to visit the Tokyo and Sapporo metro regions. I will, of course, do all the necessary research before I leave, but I want to ask if you have any advice for me. This can be anything from tips on must-see destinations to safety precautions. I've only started listening to the podcast recently, so I don't know if this has been a topic before. Sorry if you've already covered this in a previous episode. Super Shadow Chaos 7.
Never been to Sapporo.
No.
If you're going to take a train from Tokyo to Sapporo, you better get the JR Rail Pass. You're going to spend like a bajillion dollars riding the train all the way up there.
Yes. In that regard, I would plan all of your Tokyo activities and all of your Sapporo activities separately. Get the rail pass for, I think you can get like a day pass or something if you want or something.
Rail pass is a week.
Is it a week?
You can get a day pass for the Tokyo Metro or the JR
right.
lines in Tokyo.
Okay. So yeah, if you want to do that, get that rail pass because it's going to save you a crap load of money.
I mean, my advice would be Kamakura is very historical. Yokohama should not be forgotten, and you need to spend way more time in Tokyo than you do in Sapporo because there's not going to be a tremendous amount of things in Sapporo.
You could spend months in Tokyo and not see everything there is to see.
Exactly.
It's
Tokyo
insane.
is massive. It's nuts.
Yeah. I would definitely check out Akiba, of course. You're going to want to go there. And that, again, Akiba is going to take you several days to go through. Like, there's just so much to see there.
If you need more advice, you can send me an email.
Yeah.
Next mailbag?
The next one is from Bartholomew7. And hi, I'm a relatively new listener to your podcast, and I enjoyed your chat about the Studio Ghibli amusement park, particularly the segment about what rides you would want. So my topic is, what would your anime theme park be like? Would you have a singular theme, multiple themed areas, just one ride per franchise? And what would these rides be? Thanks, from Bartholomew7.
This could be a topic.
Should this be a topic?
Yeah.
We could keep it as a topic.
All right, Bartholomew.
All right,
Bartholomew.
thank you.
Topic.
Oh, we're gonna do that?
Let's do it.
I'm highlighting this in orange. Congratulations.
Oh.
Congratulations. You've been upgraded from a mailbag to a topic.
That would be a good topic.
Level up, poo.
We'll answer it eventually.
Yeah. All right. So last mailbag. Are we gonna do one more?
Jer Bear.
All right, Jer Bear. This is from. Oh well. All right. This is from Jer Bear. Hey, everybody.
Jer Bear. This is from Jer Bear.
I'm on birthday brain mode. Okay, I'm sorry.
His birthday.
Mailbag says, "Hey everyone, my mom has been a fan of Ghibli films for a long time, but even though she introduced me to anime as a kid with movies like Kiki's Delivery Service and Howl's Moving Castle, she herself had never seen any anime not Ghibli related. That was until recently when I convinced her to watch Land of the Lustrous. She loved it. Since then, she's seen Girls Last Tour and A Place Further in the Universe and asked for more. Based on what she's enjoyed, short, sweet shows with female protagonists, do you have any recommendations for her? Thanks for the help." Oh, your mom, may I assume, has been transformed into an anime addict.
It's true. She's one of us.
Damn
She's
right.
one of us. Damn right. Good job, Jer Bear. You've added one to the army. Anyway, Mandy, I see you got some.
I have stuff listed. The ones with female protagonists. I put down Flying Witch. It's super sweet. About girls wanting to be witches, or they are witches. Inari Konkon has a female protagonist, and it's a very sweet one too. Yudu Camp is a sweet one about camping, girls camping, and Violet Evergarden. That one's short, very emotional. And this doesn't have a female protagonist, but any chance I get to recommend Natsume Yujicho, I will.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's very sweet. Not a female protagonist, and but it's not short, but it is very sweet. And after you watch the first episode, you could skip around because it is episodic.
Yeah, and I have I would recommend it's also not really like short, but it is in the same line as the ones like slice of lifey like silliness and sweet. It's Working. I love watching Working. It's like really feel good. And I also would recommend. Oh my god, I just had one and I can't remember what it is. So okay, so working. Oh, and Azumanga Daioh. Watch that.
Oh
one.
yeah, nice.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Azumanga Daioh. It's not short, but sweet.
And Hanasaku Iroha.
And then after she's done watching all of that, get her to watch Shirobako, which is another show about a bunch of female protagonists, and it's short. It's like 13 episodes, and it's really good, and it's all about making anime. So after she's watched all these anime, maybe she's curious about how it's made. Boom, Shirobako, and then she will truly be an addict.
And then Berserk.
And,
Berserk.
and then Berserk.
And then Prison School. Watch the show or Prison School.
Yeah, a recent one I think is also Sakura Quest would be a fun one to watch
Ninja
too.
Scroll.
It's very sweet. Ninja Scroll, yeah, totally sweet.
Very sweet.
Yeah, very sweet.
There's
Very
women in
sweet.
there.
There are.
Oh my god.
Oh boy. All right, we're done. All right, guys. Thanks so much for listening in and joining us live. And all of you listening at home, thank you also for tuning in. I know you're all commuting and working, and I hope we made your day a little better. If you wanna pay us back for making you feel good, you can head over to our website AAAPodcast.com. Wow. What was that?
I have no idea.
What just happened? Oh. Wait.
Your
Discord just bugged out.
What the hell's going on? What the hell?
It's doing the same
Doing the
thing
same thing it was doing earlier.
How do I
I
fix
don't
it?
know how you fix it earlier.
We can hear you.
Yeah,
but we're hearing ourselves echoed back.
Ooh. Oof.
Mute yourself.
Let's try now.
Oh, there we go.
Wow, Discord is sometimes.
Discord's so weird.
Okay, I'm say weird Discord shit at 2:35 ish. Yeah, so you can head over to our website AAAPodcast.com/join. Throw us a couple bucks. Help us continue to pay our taxes and all the other crap we have to do.
Pay our taxes.
It's reality. You have to pay taxes and
pay for Mitsuki's bacon addiction.
My bacon addiction, and of course we will give you even more stuff to listen to at work, which includes our hobby addicts. You can hear my mom spill her guts about all the things that I used to do.
I got deep.
You got deep
into Mitsuki's mom.
Well, she needs it, I'm sure.
Whoa! Oh my god!
I'm just kidding. She's probably listening right now. I'm gonna get a phone call later.
Oh god. I'm sorry.
Hentai episodes, and which we're gonna do one today, and so much more. So, and of course, Enzo would want you to follow him on Instagram. So, what is your Instagram?
Please, it'd be the best birthday gift if I all of a sudden got 300 more followers and put me over 1,000.
Make his birthday. Make this
300 followers.
Make this birthday boy a blushing birthday boy.
I just want to have 1,000 followers finally, guys.
What is your Instagram?
It's at Enzo Badia, ENZOBADIA.
There you go.
Currently sitting at 705, which is all my IRL friends.
Oh,
so
wow.
I just need 300
Dude has
not
700
IRL friends.
real life friends.
I'm a popular
I have
guy,
like
you know?
7.
I have 0. So, and of course, you can find Kazuo at AAA Kazuo on Twitter.
You can find me at AAA Kazuo on Twitter. You can also play video games with me on
That's
PlayStation. Right. AAA_Kazuo.
I think he's going to be streaming Dragon Quest.
And I will be streaming Dragon Quest and a bunch of other games on twitch.tv/AAAKazuo.
And of course, Mandy is at Sarquindi01 on Twitter, and that's SARQUINDI01.
Yep.
So.
And I'm just playing Warcraft. That's all I do.
Don't bother
Warcraft
her.
only.
All right, guys.
I sometimes stream, but I haven't recently.
Next week, I may come up with something devious for us to talk about. We'll see. I have an idea. But we'll see you guys next time on the podcast. So until then, I hope you all have a great week and a great weekend, and take care.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, so I am absolutely dying. So I think I'm going to have to sit out of this hentai episode and go eat a shitload of food.